coffee.
Are you up?
Yep. It should be going.
Sometimes it doesn't give it to me till I go out and go back in.
Coffee's still on.
Well, I'm not getting anything yet.
I think it has like a 30-second delay. Which just
There we go.
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds. Cool. Oh, I don't have my microphone on. That would definitely help.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. Tag at everybody. Hello, what's going on, my people? Hot coffee on my hand. Sorry about the slurp noise. Yeah, I literally, hang on. I filled my cup up way too much. Now I got coffee running everywhere. Goodness gracious, off to a rough start already. But it's going to be okay. We're going to get straight here in a second, and then we'll be ready to go. Let me pay attention to what I'm doing this time and try to get up into my bar stool without spilling my doggone coffee. There we go. Okay, I think we got it. So, KZ Tropical's in the house. Ed, what's going on, man? This is the coffee that you sent to us, and yeah, it's pretty darn good. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. Good afternoon. Hello, Jessica. How you doing? Kimberly's in the house. Nice to see you here. Lee said, missed you last week. Yeah, it was my wife's birthday weekend. So we took the day and we had some friends over and just enjoyed the time off. So sorry you guys didn't get to talk about reef keeping, but sometimes you just need a day, you know? What's going on, Hampton? Nice to see you here. Michael Nunley, thank you so much for stopping by the stream. I'm glad that everybody is here today. We really appreciate you being here. Plenty of cool stuff to talk about. Got a couple of changes with the tank going on. You can see it right there by my shoulder. We'll talk about that in a little while. Jessica says, can you talk? I'm out of breath, guys. Breathing problems, so bear with me. Jessica wants to talk a little bit about dialing in a skimmer. Yeah, so I do have a video on my YouTube channel about tuning a protein skimmer. I think it might have even been the second video that I ever uploaded to YouTube like 2 years ago. So if you go to my videos and you search the channel for the word tune, T-U-N-E, you should be able to find it, but we'll talk about it anyway. So skimmers, and it really depends on the one that you have. Some of them only have water flow adjustments. Some of them only have air intake adjustments. Some of them you have to twist the body to adjust it. They're all a little bit different depending on the type of skimmer that you have. I still have coffee going down my hand. So curiously, Jessica, which one do you have? When you install a brand new skimmer on your tank, it's going to take it a few days to break in, and it has to build that slick biofilm on the inside of the skimmer before it really begins to work properly. So I wouldn't tune it too much for probably like the first week, as long as it's not overflowing the cup or anything, which it might do that too. Just let it run for at least 4 or 5 days, and it'll start to break in. You got the Aqua from Amazon. Okay. I'm not familiar with that one. Let me know if it has that one. I would imagine that one probably only has an air intake adjustment, if I had to guess. Some of them also have DC pumps, so the pump power can be changed as well. So it's really hard to just tell you exactly what to do. Basically, what you want is for the foam head in the skimmer to be breaking those bubbles right kind of at the bottom of the neck that comes up into the skimmer cup. So you want to adjust that water level and air level, whatever, to get those bubbles popping right there at the bottom of where that neck goes up into the cup. And then you just let it run. It's going to build a dry foam head on top of that spot within that neck. And then eventually, as it keeps doing that, it's going to push that foam up into the top of the cup and it'll go into the collection cup. That's the short and skinny version. More than that, we would have to talk about exactly the features of the one that you have. Let's go back a minute. I missed a few. I think you needed an angler in the sea cardinal. Not a bad idea. I like those fish. Those are pretty cool. Oi, good to see you too, Knights. Josh just spent $3,000 in new equipment. Oof. It was time for some upgrades. Don't tell the wife. Hey, man, your secrets are safe with me. Yeah, for sure. So, what's going on at Reef Rookies headquarters? It's been kind of a slow month, to be honest with you, for like Etsy sales and things like that. So we're kind of dragging behind, but a few orders have come through, so we're getting those rocking and rolling. I've been having printer issues as well, which I don't know if I've resolved those or not. I'm still having some problems. So Kevin says, good morning. I have a 60-gallon in my classroom. The only coral I have kept alive so far are green star polyps. Let me go back. Everything else just goes away. What should I be looking at? First thing is, well, let me tell you this. I offer one-on-one consultations. It's a thing I do. You can find out information about those on my website, reefrookies.com. I'll just put that out there. But the first thing that I would check is to make sure that your light is a correct light for reef keeping. The next thing is going to be water parameters. You need to be, if you have corals in the tank that are not soft corals, you need to be checking for calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, keeping tabs on pH, nitrate, and phosphate. Salinity too, and temperature, of course. If all of that checks out, then there's something else going on, some kind of toxin, there's something in the water. It's really hard for me to tell you exactly what to look at. But when you have a systemic problem like that, that is everything you put in the tank doesn't do well and it always dies, there's some major thing that's not quite right. And it's one of those things that I just mentioned. Cody says, battling Ostreopsis went away. I turned off the UV like a dummy and it's coming back. But I just got a 120 I want to upgrade to. What should I do to limit bringing them in the new tank? Run the UV 24/7 before you try to move anything over into the new tank. I would set the new tank up, get it through the nitrogen cycle and the ugly phase while you keep fighting the dinos in the other tank before moving anything over. And even while you're doing the move, I did this once. I would probably have a big bath set up in a drum, a hydrogen peroxide bath. Rocks would come out of the old tank, get swished around in the hydrogen peroxide bath, and then go into the new tank. It's impossible to prevent complete transmission. You're going to get some in there, but as long as that new tank is set up and you're constantly adding diversity into that thing after the nitrogen cycle, or even during the nitrogen cycle, you could put some corals in there. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be your best shot. I hate upgrading tanks and moving stuff from one tank that I know has a problem into the new tank, but sometimes it's unavoidable. You know, you just got to do what you got to do. Kevin says, I'm taking notes. Very cool. A lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about during the stream is probably going to apply for you, Kevin. So make sure you hang around. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. And for the rest of you, do the same thing as well. The Coriana says they've got a 40-gallon breeder, hang on the back filter for a year, want to upgrade to a 180 with a sump. Pros and cons. This is a 180 with a sump behind me. My sump is on the other side of the wall in the room behind it. Everything that you do now to maintain your 40, triple that. So water change volume is going to go up. Obviously, salt cost, water cost, electricity cost is going to go up. You're going to spend 3 times more on lighting for the 180. You're going to spend 2 to 3 times more for the equipment that you're going to need for the 180. Everything is just going to be more. Rocks, sand, the amount of fish and everything that it takes, it's just going to cost you 3 to 5 times more to set that 180 up, stock it, get it looking good than it is on the 40. But I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just saying that's what you can expect. You know, a skimmer for a 180 is going to run you on the low end, 200, 250, 300 bucks, you know, whereas one for the 40, you might could get it for 150 to 250, something like that. You know, it may be even a little less, but the main thing is just the cost of doing it. Running the tank is done exactly in the same way. Now, of course, with a 180, you have a lot more water volume, so it's a lot easier to move your parameters around without spiking things or swinging stuff. If you need to add phosphate or whatever, it's easier to do because it's more water volume, but it's more costly to do because it takes more crap to do the thing that you're trying to do. So, I mean, yeah, but the pros is you get to have a big reef tank in your house. So, yeah, I would say if that's something you're looking at doing, you should experience it at least once. A lot of people do a tank this size, and when they're $5,000 into it, they realize, man, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I should have stuck with the 40, or maybe I should have upgraded to a 90 instead of a 180. You know, stuff like that. But if the cost isn't a huge deal, then it's just all the other stuff that goes along with it it's just more. Michael says, can you talk about installing a Fiji Cube 1,200-gallon overflow on a 75-gallon rimmed aquarium? Is the overflow that you're talking about, do you have to drill the tank or is it a hang on the back one? Answer me that, and then we'll come back around to it. How likely is it that a plating Monty can recover once it's faded and lost most of the color? Mine has gone very pale, yet a red branching Montipora right next to it is still bright and healthy. I mean, if I had to put a number on it, I guess you could say maybe like a 50-50 shot. You know, it really just depends on your ability to identify the reason that it was bleaching and losing its color. It could be lighting. It could be related to parameters. If it's just losing color, typically that's not like a pest type of situation. You would see like pieces missing and like skin like missing from the coral, or like fish bites and things like that. So if it's just losing color, it's going to be related to water quality or lighting. Either your parameters or your nutrients are out of whack, or the lighting usually is too strong but could also be too weak. That's another one of those problems that it's really hard for me to like put a nail in that one, you know, because it could be a lot of things. But those are the things that I would look at. And it's really easy to try to look at the tank sort of as a whole and go, well, that coral right next to it looks fine, but this one's not fine. What's going on? I have that situation in this tank right now. That is a big yellow hammer that we'll see later on when we do the tank tour. Right here below it is a purple hammer that is super pissed off, and it's 2 inches from this. There's another pissed hammer back here, and that purple hammer right there is just fine. So I've got some hammers that are doing great, and I've got some hammers that are not doing great, and they're probably within 1 square foot of space. My parameters are pretty much perfect, except my phosphate's a little higher than I would like it to be. But yeah, sometimes it's really difficult. With your encrusting Montipora or your plating Monty, I would say probably the first thing I would do would be to drop it down in the tank, put it in a low par, medium flow kind of area, and see if it doesn't start to color back up. A lot of times, Montipora doesn't need nearly as much par as what some people think. So yeah, it can grow quite well in a low par. Jordan says, wish I would have done that. I'm not sure what you were talking about, but I probably wish I would have too. In your opinion, would RODI be worth buying if I were planning on running a 45-gallon lightly stocked with zoas? Yes, primarily because there's typically a lot of stuff in tap water that's going to cause algae, dinoflagellate, or diatom issues. So while it might not kill your corals and fish and invertebrates, you might be constantly fighting algae problems. But fortunately, there's a way to check. So go on Amazon, buy a digital TDS meter, total dissolved solids, TDS. They're about $20. Get that, test to your tap water. You literally just turn the thing on and you stick it down in some clean water. Put it in a clean glass cup or something out of the tap. Let it sit for a few minutes. Stick the meter in there. If that meter reads anything over like 2 or 3 TDS, then you're going to benefit from having an RODI unit. Some people would even say if it has a reading at all, but most tap water is going to have something. 2 to 3 is kind of where I call the limit. When I hit 1 on my RODI unit, I order filters. So 2 to 3 on my tap water, I would be like, I can't use this tap water. But that's just the first indicator. The second thing that you could do is contact the people who supply your water to you, the municipality or whoever it is, and get a water quality analysis report from them. And it will tell you what's in that water. Because it matters if you're on like city water, or if it comes out of a pond, or if it comes out of a well, or if it comes from an aquifer. All of that stuff makes a difference. So it completely depends upon what is in your water. And if you want to go even one further than that, you can order an Oceamo MS ICP analysis. You take some of your tap water, you put it in there, you send it off to the Oceamo people. It takes about 14 days to get it back. And they will tell you everything that's in your RODI water or in your tap water, and you can make a call from there. Typically, I would say for probably 95% of people, yes, having an RODI unit is going to be very beneficial, and you would probably want one. Somebody became a YouTube channel member. Mike is a Copepod supporter. Thank you so much for joining as a YouTube channel member. Every single one of those really helps us out, because in case you guys haven't noticed, we don't have any corporate sponsors here at Reef Rookies headquarters. There's nobody paying me to say anything. There are a couple of companies who are supplying me with a couple of things, but they're not paying me any money. So every bit, and actually those things hit us on taxes. We have to pay taxes on that like it's income, even though it's not. Yeah, so every supporter or every supporting person that comes through who's willing to even do the $1 a month tier, it helps us tremendously. And we have that available on the website as well, reefrookies.com.
They all remember to send us an email with their username or to go tell them to watch if they're a member, go watch the latest member video. If
you are a YouTube channel member, please go into my channel, into the members area, and watch the most recent YouTube channel members only video. There's some important information in there that you guys need to know about. Okay. Knight said multiple Monties look super stressed, gray up, come back. Yeah, it can happen for sure. You can bring them back around. Jessica said, what's that Red Sea tank breaking on me on the 16th? Using 25 gallons of water, all my rock, and my filter system. Should I even be running a protein skimmer right now? It's filling. Yes, I think that running your skimmer is probably a good idea right now, especially after doing a tank move. It's a good thing to do. How do I get rid of white branching sponge that has taken over my zoas and underside of my rocks? There's a couple of fish out there that might eat it. If the tank is big enough, I don't even want to recommend that, because I don't know what your skill level is with reefing and fishes. If you dig around, there's a couple of fish that eat sponge. Maybe you could try one of those if it will fit into your system. Otherwise, manual removal is going to be your best friend. You could remove the frags themselves and do a hydrogen peroxide dip on them. That usually would kill the sponges. But yeah, sponge is both good and bad. It's a double-edged sword. It can outgrow stuff, but it's great for your tank too. I'm putting my first fish in my 65-gallon tank next week. Amazing. What fish are you going with? interested. Oh, we got another member. Edward signed up as a Copepod supporter. Thank you so much, Edward. Really appreciate that. Absolutely matters that you guys are willing to do that. Yep, go watch the video like we were just talking about. Drew, nephew dumped a lot of pellet food in the tank and sump. While I was gone last night, I cleaned everything out, 50% water change, wet skim till 4 a.m. Yes, run activated carbon, continue wet skimming, do daily water changes for a week. As long as your nitrate and phosphate remain non-zero, keep doing like 10 or 15% water changes every day. All of that food, it's good that you got most of it out. Your animals are probably going to eat a lot of it, but there's probably still going to be some left over. So make sure that you're keeping tabs on ammonia a couple times a day, every day over the next week or so. The activated carbon will help a little bit for that. You might even get some C-Chem Prime and have that on hand and dose that every other day just to cut down on any possible ammonia that shows up. Basically, just keep a real close eye on the tank over the next week or so and continue those water changes, getting that stuff out. 90 people in the live stream at 21 minutes. That's amazing. And we just got a new YouTube channel member, Robert. Welcome as a Copepod supporter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys, I don't know if people actually understand, but as a content creator who relies completely on supporters and ad revenue, I am not making a ton of money. Believe me, this is not like a Mr. Beast kind of situation. So every little bit helps. You guys are literally helping us put food on our tables at the end of the day. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want to have to get corporate stuff involved where I have to ask people to pay me so that they can run ads on my channel, and there's specific ads. And so you guys know what I'm talking about. Thank you for being a supporter. I appreciate it.
Go watch the video.
Go watch the video. Yes, in the YouTube channel members only section. The most recent one, important information there. Derek says, look at the look, he's playing in the bubbles. He loves to do that, man. That's really common for those fish. Fox faces love to just play in the bubbles and play on the surface of the water. It's just something they do. Derek says, my daughter has been looking after my aquariums. I have 100 Reef while I'm in the hospital. I went to look yesterday. She's doing a great job. That is awesome. And I'm sorry for the situation that's requiring you to be in the hospital and away from your house and family and tanks. But it's cool that you have somebody in the house who is at least interested enough to help you maintain them. That's very awesome. Jay said he laid up still, so I got time to tune in. There you go. It's a good day for that, although it's not as hot out today as it has been in the last week or so. Yeah. And let's see, what's the name here? Hampton. I have a beautiful 125 fish, rocks, coral, scallops, fan worm. You got scallops in there? Like the flame ones, flame scallops? Cool. With an FX4, do I have to have a sump? Absolutely not. You certainly don't. As a matter of fact, I've made a couple videos talking about that. If you want to dig through my channel, you can just type in the word sump, and you might find one that talks about the 4 main different kinds of filtration. Sump, hang on the back, canister, and I don't know, there was another one. It's been a while. That video was about a year ago, maybe, I think. But no, you don't absolutely have to have a sump. No, it's just a nice piece of equipment to have. It would be like saying, can I work on cars and can I fix cars, but I don't have a lift? Like, yeah, you can still fix cars. You can still work on cars. The lift is going to make it a lot easier, but you can still fix cars. It's the same way with a reef tank. As long as you keep that canister clean, and it really depends on how you have that canister set up. If it's set up with sponges and pads and things that are going to mechanically remove stuff from the water, you need to be cleaning that out weekly. Take those out, do your water change, keep the old salt water, take those pads out, swish them around in the old salt water, get all the gunk off of them, then put them back in. If you have it set up as a cryptic, like a nitrate reactor almost, then you don't do that. Then you leave it alone. But you would know if you had it set up that way because you would have done the research to be able to do that. So Yeah, no, you don't have to have a sump. Absolutely not. Who is the $5? Sean, of course. Thank you so much, Sean. We love you, man. We really appreciate all of your support that you give to the Reef Rookies channel. Your tank is the best it has ever been. That is amazing. Thank you so much for that super chat, Sean, or super sticker, or whichever one it was. Michael says, I have to drill the tank. Okay. You can do it. I have faith in you that you can do it. I would watch a lot of YouTube videos about how to drill an aquarium. It's not as hard as people make it seem, but it is really easy to break the tank. So you have to be very careful about how you do it. There are awesome tools out there now that will like suction cup down to the tank. They include the drill press and everything in them. Of course, you only use it one time, but after you've done that, you can loan it out to fellow reef keeping buddies in your local area, and you might could even rent it. Or you could sell it or something. Anyway, there's lots of good tools now. Back in the day, we used to do it by hand just with a drill and a garden hose, and we broke a lot of tanks. Sometimes we were successful, sometimes we were not. But you can find a lot more success now using one of the specific tools made for drilling glass. Diamond hole saw, you know, and as long as you go slow, you let the weight of the drill do the work, don't press, you'll be all right. That would be like a whole video, really. Trying to talk about drilling tanks. It's been a long time since I drilled one. I don't even know if I could really jump right back into that. I might have to do a little practice run. Hello, Caleb. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream. Knight says, usually that's a light problem. I don't remember what we were talking about. Maybe it was the corals changing color. Usually, yes, I agree. That would usually be a light problem. Thinking about doing a seahorse tank, do you have to QT them as well? I honestly don't know. I know you don't want any bristleworms in your seahorse tanks because they can sting the seahorses and cause problems. So in those tanks, yes, you absolutely want to get the bristleworms gone. But I don't know about QT and seahorses because I don't know a lot about seahorses. I've never kept them. They are a lot more hardy than I thought they were, but they still do have some very specific care requirements. So I'm not sure. Definitely dig into that some more. And I'm sorry that I don't have an answer for you. What is this? Edward dropped a super sticker, $10. Thank you so much, Edward. That means an absolute ton. And the little dude on the sticker has even got glasses like me.
We got another $2. I don't know if it's a super sticker. I don't know what it is down there, but Tim Taylor.
It's not showing up on my end.
You may not. Yours has been behind. Like I'm seeing them before you are. So.
Oh, let me.
I don't know why, but. Yeah,
the last one that it's showing me we have is from Edward. Let me just scroll down. Oh wow, I'm way behind.
You're okay.
Okay, yeah.
Tim Taylor, thank you.
Tim Taylor is in with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate that. It didn't give me the little pop-up thing that it's supposed to give me at the bottom. Let's see. Getting back to where I was. Hang on with me. I'm having to read. Bear with me because I want to get to everybody's questions. I have missed a bunch of questions or something.
Oh, yeah.
No, I still got to go further back. Good gracious. Okay, let's speed this train up a little bit. Cycle in my tank, no fish, pH 8, phosphate 0.25, ammonia, nitrate, nitrite are all 0. Not ideal. If you don't have nitrate showing up, your rocks are probably sucking it up. But yeah, so it really depends how you're cycling the tank. You said no fish, so I'm assuming that you have manually spiked the ammonia up to 1.5 or 1.5 to 2 ppm, and that's going to kick off the nitrogen cycle. If you haven't done that, that's kind of the first step of a fishless nitrogen cycle. You can use bottled ammonium chloride. Dr. Tim's ammonium chloride, Brightwell Quick Cycle, or Fritz fishless fuel are the ones that I would recommend. KZ, if I put rocks in a bucket of water, changed for the tank, will the rock become live without moving the water? No. The nitrifying bacteria that we want are not in the water. They are on a 50 micron film algae layer, that slick biofilm that you feel in the tank. They are in that. So if you put dead rocks in there and just move water from the tank into there, it's not going to cycle those rocks. You're going to have to put some bacteria in there to go with it. Robert says, love you, Logan. Love you back, man. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Are those torches that are close to your hammers? If so, do you see any issues with the torches stinging the hammers? They are. Yeah, there's 4 torches right here. This is a, let's see. Hang on, let me get my bearings. This is a Dragon Soul, New York Knicks. There's a Holy Grail back there and a Blacklight torch. And I don't have that much issue with my torches touching my hammers. Usually it's okay if they come from the same area of the world. So like Indo torches and Indo hammers can touch. Australian torches, Australian hammers are usually okay, but sometimes not. But Aussie and Indo, they don't like each other. So when you get them, if you're going to have them close to each other, try to get from the same area of the world. Denver, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Happy to have you here. We got another super chat from, I do not want to butcher your name, so we're just going to go with Lay, L-E-Y. Lane. Yeah, I'm gonna mess your name up. I'm sorry. I've got a name like that too, and I don't want to do that. So thank you for the super chat. It means an absolute ton. I use well water. Biggest challenge I face is algae, but I think it's more of a lack of cleaners and overfeeding than solely with the well water. Possibly, but it does depend on what's in that water. Indigo says, I would highly advise getting captive bred seahorses. That way there isn't a need to QT. Good tip. Terra Reef is in the house. What's going on, my friend? Happy to see you here. Jordan says it's a 180. What were we talking about? Oh, you were talking about the sponge. So yeah, in a 180, I mean, listen, this is not a recommendation that I would normally make. And I'm very hesitant to make this recommendation because you need to know what you're doing. If you're a newer reef keeper and you don't already know the needs of the fish, ignore what I'm about to say. If you're a fairly experienced reef keeper, you understand what you're getting yourself into. A Moorish idol are prolific sponge-eating fish, but do not just go buy a Moorish idol. That would be incredibly irresponsible. Do the research, talk to people who have them, understand what that fish needs because they are not an easy fish to keep. Okay? So, yes. That's a thing that you can dig into. Do the research. That's all I'm going to say. Lee Armstrong, best way to control vermitid snails in a deep reef tank. Bumblebee snails haven't helped, man. It can't reach many to manual. That's a difficult situation. I have heard more than once over the last couple of years that blue line shark nose gobies, you know, the ones that Petco carries all the time, the little ones, and they're black. They're like this big and they got a blue stripe. There's also one with a yellow stripe. I have heard that those eat vermitid snails. I have not verified that. If you go get one and he don't do it, don't come at me. I'm just saying. Multiple people have told me that they have those fish and put them in and they eradicated the vermitid snail problem. It's one of the things that I want to test one day. But like, I can't even get to the space of being able to like do experiments and stuff. There's too many things stopping me right now, mostly bills. But yeah, I would say you could do some reading on that. Maybe you can find a couple of people or talk to a couple of people who have experienced that. Aside from that, the only other thing that I could think would be the routine use of coral snow. A lot of people say that it works to kill the vermitid snails. Now, I don't mean marine snow, the coral food. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is coral snow, the stuff that we pour in the tank. It's white. It turns the whole tank white. It's calcium carbonate in some RODI water. You mix it thick, and when you put that in the tank, when the snail's mucus webs are out, it sticks to the mucus web. They withdraw that, and it turns into a calcium carbonate plug in their tube that they can't expel, and then they die. A lot of people say they have had good results with that, so check into that. Edward says, Microbacter to start my Nano 15 Life Rock live sand. Can I switch to Dr. Tim's one and only, or should I stick to Microbacter? So I have seen this a lot lately. Once the nitrogen cycle is finished and the tank is kind of well into the ugly phase, there's really no need to continue adding bacteria to the tank. In fact, doing that is a bit counterproductive because we want the tank to grow its own microbiome. And if we're continually pouring new competitors biologically into the tank, those other bacteria are not being able to proliferate, or at least hypothetically, that makes sense in my head, right? So I don't ever routinely dose a tank after the nitrogen cycle with additional bacteria. I just start putting corals and stuff in the tank. You're going to get more diversity from that than you will from anything in a bottle. So if your tank is past the nitrogen cycle, don't worry about buying more bottles of bacteria. Get corals and stuff instead. Spend that money somewhere else. Kumar, what's going on, my friend? Thank you so much for stopping by the stream. Do you have any remedies for getting rid of Mahanos? Got you. They overtook my 500-gallon tank. Oh my goodness. There is nothing that I know of that you could buy, like an animal that's absolutely going to like eat all of the Mahanos or Majanos or however you say it out of that tank. It's for those of you who don't know, Mahano anemones, M-A-J-A-N-O, they're little green bubble tip anemone. They have a slight sting, but they can go crazy in your tank and just take over everywhere. And that's what this is going on for this person. Some fish will nibble at them, but I don't know of anything that's just going to annihilate them. That's a crappy situation. As far as I know, there's no predator for those anemone like we have Bergia nudibranch for Aptasia. I don't think there's anything like that for Mahanos, but I'm not 100% sure. There may be, you know, but I haven't heard of one. So that's a difficult situation. If they've taken over the entire tank, I mean, a 500 gallons a big tank, but if they've taken over the entire tank, the best thing that you might have to do is to take all the rocks out and like bleach bath the rocks and just kill the NIMS, rinse the rocks a whole bunch of times and just get it back in there and start over again. It's very unfortunate, but I honestly, unless you're going to go one by one and inject every single one of them with something like Aptasia X or a Kalkwasser paste or something like that, which is very labor intensive, but it might be better than doing a reset. I don't really know of any other way that you could do it. Matt, good evening. Great news. Just added full macro tank to my setup. Full system is 3,500 liters. Now, any tips for people for macro tank advice? Yes. There are trace elements that macroalgae really appreciate having in the tank. There's a product called Keto Grow. Some people call it Cheeto Grow. Brightwell Aquatics makes it. And it's basically fertilizer for your macro. Was that thunder?
Probably. Thunder.
Sounded like thunder, yeah. So that's a product that Brightwell Aquatics makes that you can get. You can dose to the tank to enhance your macroalgae growth. If you're in a situation where you're also having to replenish calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, could you send Felicia the link to the stream and a note that tells her in 20 minutes we're going to talk about the thing from Biota? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it, baby. What was I talking about? Oh, if you were also having to supplement calcium, magnesium, and alkalinity, the Triton Labs Core 7 Flex, the Flex is important. Their 4-part dosing system comes with a bottle of trace elements that is specifically meant to help with macroalgae growth. because the Triton method is based on having a large algae refugium. So they include those traces in there to help the macroalgae. Yo, what is that little doohickey down there? Albert dropped a massive super sticker. Thank you so much, man. That means an absolute ton. Didn't expect that. Certainly didn't see that one coming. But I'm happy that you were able to stop by the stream today. I know that you don't always get to do that, and it's very, very appreciated. Absolutely. Man, thank you. That will definitely help clear up some things. So yes, macro tanks. They can strip your nutrients, they can strip your traces. So make sure you're staying on top of both of those things. You might even have to begin dosing trace elements specifically for the macroalgae. But listen, I have never had a tank running better than the tanks that I run with macroalgae. And I'm not talking about Kato or Cheeto is what people call it. I'm talking about real macros, Halomedia, Halomenia, Caulerpa, those kinds of, the Codium, those kinds of things. If you want to learn more about macroalgae, I have a 1-hour interview with Amanda, the macro lady, on my channel. You can go search my channel for macro and you'll find it, or algae, or just dig around a bit. You'll find it. And it's a very good discussion. There's even some indicators that some macroalgae, and I need to dig into this more, but some macroalgae might impart an antimicrobial, antibacterial nature into the tank, keeping the tank healthier just because it's in there. So I need to look at species and stuff like that and dig into that more, because I'm not a macroalgae expert by any means. But yeah, check that out. J-Rod, been battling dinos for 4 weeks. That sucks. Basically killed all my corals. That sucks even more. Seen some promising results putting on cheap UV in the sump without the light, without the light lighting. Without the light lighting anything else. What do you think? I got you. You put an open element UV in your sump, but that light isn't. Okay, I got you. If the dinos responded to the UV at all, then you might be lucky and have. That's 100 people in the stream. I saw it happen. Yeah. It's back to 97 now, but I saw the 100. So yeah, if you saw any effect, then you might have the dinos that would respond to UV treatment, and it would be worth looking at. But UV sterilizers are kind of expensive, right? So I would get microscopic ID first before you did that. You can get a microscope on Amazon these days to ID dinos for about $100. I've got them. Do we have those listed on the website? We don't. We don't have them. I remember not doing them.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
No, but Amscope M150. Amscope M150 is a really good microscope for $150. It'll get you what you need. I mean, are you going to be able to diagnose brain cancer? Probably not. You know, but it'll get you what you need for IDing dinoflagellates and algae and things like that in your tank. Honestly, I think that a microscope is a tool that every serious reef keeper should have. You know, skip a couple of frags one week and pick up a microscope, and then just take samples of your sand. Take a sample of your rocks, stick it under there and see what you can see. The life in the tank is so much more than people think. Kumar says, is that a new tattoo on the question mark? I don't have any new ink. I don't know what we're looking at. I've had all these. They're all, I mean, I've got these, but they've been there too. No new tattoos that I know of. Anybody tattooed me while I was sleeping? I don't think so. Not today. What does she mean, not today? Just got an innovative marine EXT50. It will be a mixed reef. What do you recommend for power heads and water flow? Is it a cube tank or is it a rectangular tank? I don't know. It's probably a rectangle if it's innovative marine. Where was my brain going? For cube tanks and more squarish rectangle type tanks, I prefer propeller style wave makers. Actually, I'm swapping the gyres out that are on my big tank back here for some DeLua propeller wave makers that are going to be coming soon. The gyres are the big, long, skinny ones. They do great. They make big, broad flow, but they're not as great for a cube tank or a more squarish rectangle tank. I don't like them as much. That said, the DeLua wave makers are probably going to be very good, but I've not tested them yet. Everything else from DeLua is amazing quality, so I have no reason to think that it won't be, but I haven't put one in my hand yet. Ecotech, Vortech pumps, always a solid one. They are quite expensive, but they do work very, very well. There are some JCOD, J-E-C-O-D, knockoff versions of those Ecotech pumps out there, and they do a really good job. And if I'm being completely honest with you, on the other end of my big tank, right down there at the top, right there, that is a Higer Crossflow 27 watt, I believe, wave maker, and it's done a great job. It can push water from that end all the way across my 6-foot tank, so it's doing okay. Flow is one of those things, like, it's really hard to dial that in. Matt says, say hi to Huey, Dewey, and Louie for me. They're here, right there, and there's another one there, and another one over here, right in here, I think. Yep, right back there. They're doing awesome. They're super inquisitive fish. If we walk up to the tank or whatever, they'll come right up to the tank like this and just look at you and just, yeah, they do. Yeah, eye to eye. They'll be like, where is my food, bruh? Sponges used over time can work as both mechanical and biological filtration. That is absolutely true. I love having sponge in my tank. Let's see. Do you do ick management or eradication? I don't do either one. I feed my fish really heavily, so they're nice, fat, and healthy. And, well, I guess that's not true. I guess I would call it ick management. I have a big UV sterilizer for this tank, but it's not on 24/7. But if I see a fish looking like there might be something going on, then I kick it on. So I guess technically you would call the way that I run my tank as ick management. Yeah. That said, I QT everything that goes into my tank religiously, especially now with everything that's in this thing. Nothing goes in this tank without being QT'd for a very long time and also being medicated to kill things. So yeah, it's all of the above, to be honest with you. Who is that? Hampton says, great info. Right on. Thank you very much. Stay away from canister filters as filtration for a reef tank. I'll save you the headache. Yeah, some people don't like them. Some people like them just fine. The main thing is make sure that you are staying on top of your maintenance. But for some people, that doesn't work out. So I always rinse my sponges and pulled out tank water, rarely replace them. Oh, I am, good Lord. I'm so far behind you guys.
You always catch up.
I do always get caught up. Yeah. I do get caught up usually in the second half of the third hour. People are tired of hearing me talk at that point. Let's see. Tips for getting rid of bubble algae. I bought a Pithos and it never touched it. Died about 2 weeks later. Not sure if it was old or starved to death. Yeah. So bubble algae is manually remove it. Get in there with something like a dental pick, like a really sharp thing with a little hook. Dig underneath the bubble algae and pop it loose and just take it out of the tank. Don't worry about popping it. It's not a myth that it can spread if you pop it, but it has to be actively sexual at that time for that to take place. And so it isn't always actively in the state of sexual reproduction. So most of the time I just get in there with something, dig under it, pop it loose, take it out. Foxface rabbitfish eat it pretty well as well if you have room for one of those. Have you seen the no sock? Yes. They look like they could be a great replacement since you just toss in the floss and no sock washing. Yeah, the people who have them love them. They are indeed a great replacement. Taper Gore, nice to see you back here. Retap, awesome to see you here again, my friend. Thank you so much. Didn't get a notification you were live. Yeah, somebody messaged the CEO of YouTube and tell him to get on the damn, or I'm not supposed to say that, get on the ball. They don't send out notifications to subscribers for everything, and it's so stupid, but I can't change it. Let's see. Seahorses can get disease. They are fish. Oddball, but very different. Good to know. A lot of things will attack them more aggressively than other fish. Very cool. Josh drilled to 75, used a water hose for constant water, let the weight of the drill, put some towels directly under it so it doesn't crack the glass. That's a good tip. Yeah, because that puck of glass, once you cut through it, it's going to fall out, and it can crack the glass on the other side of the tank. Good tip. I need to know where to put the holes. Oh, well, that's a whole different conversation. So if we're talking about drilling overflows, I prefer mine to be in the center. That's why I bought this tank. It has the center overflow. I like symmetry, you know. But as far as like the care of the tank goes, it really doesn't matter. Put it wherever you want. I like mine in the center just because I think it looks better, and it drives me crazy if things aren't symmetrical. Yeah. I just bought one of your coffee cup. What, like this? This coffee cup? Or you got one off of the merch store? Oh, yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Could you talk about phytoplankton, how to dose it, and whether it's necessary? My husband is watching you. That's weird. Oh, wait, I'm live streaming. Never mind. But he's driving and can't type. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. So phytoplankton is one of the best things that you can put in your reef tank once you have an established tank, and even a little bit before that, right? So getting into the ugly phase, one of the things that we want growing in the tank are copepods. Now you can put copepods in the tank, and from a bottle, you can order them. There's a bunch of different places. You put them in there, they start cleaning up and start doing their thing. But if the tank is not mature enough yet, they might not have enough food. So at that time, you can also begin dosing phytoplankton, live phytoplankton from a fridge chilled bottle, not dead powdered phytoplankton that you mix with water. That ain't what I'm talking about. The live stuff. Hang on. So you can begin putting it in shortly after the nitrogen cycle. Don't go crazy with it because it can make your nutrients go up. But like I think it's like 1 milliliter per 10 gallons or something like that. You have to look it up. It really depends on the tank. My tank, I could probably dump gallons of phytoplankton in this thing at this point, and the corals would just go nuts. It is something that I'm getting ready to do, but my phosphate have been high, and so there's no need for me to do that right now because I don't want to make that get any higher. I don't think it's 100% necessary. Like many things in reef keeping, you can have a tank without dosing phyto. I have not put phytoplankton into this tank since I reset it. And I mean, the tank is doing great. I have excellent coral growth. Everything is fine. Phytoplankton is like a superfood for your corals and for all the little microscopic things in your tank, right? So if you want to use it, yes, it's a good thing. Don't go overboard and use it too much. But it's not, as long as you use it in moderation, it isn't going to hurt anything. Now, if you do it too much, yes, you can raise your nutrients in the tank. But other than that, it's not a big deal. Tara says holes should be high. Leaky bulkhead at the top of the tank can be solved by lowering the water level. A little leaky bulkhead on the bottom. Oh yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. But I don't think most modern filter box or overflow boxes are meant to be drilled higher in the tank. I don't think anybody's doing them at the bottom anymore, unless you buy the baffle kit that goes all the way down, like mine, goes from the top all the way to the bottom. My tank is drilled on bottom, but it has the big overflow box that stops the whole tank from leaking out. I have a box filled with power heads. I bought too big. Skimmers, I bought too big or too poor of quality, and ultimately I didn't need. Lost some money on corals and equipment because I didn't have your knowledge. Man, I think we've all done that. Dude, wait till we go do the tour here in 5 minutes or so, and look at what's on top of my locker and in my locker. Fritz Fishless is my go-to for ammonia. Yep, it's a good one for ammonia for fishless cycling. When I cycled, wait a minute, something popped up at the bottom. Garfar in with the $5 super sticker. How's it going? It's going well, man. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Really appreciate that. It means so much that you guys are willing to support in that way. It absolutely helps a ton and make sure that we can continue doing this. Somebody else is in with another one. Rose Red Yellow Ribbon has a question. It's a super chat, so we're going to hit that one next. Square tank flow is hard. I can see that. Yeah, I agree with you a little bit. I have a 30-gallon tide line. The outflow is strong. I break it against the front glass. I have a Mobius wave maker under the intake set to lagoon, and you get a whirlpool. Okay, so one thing you might want to consider is a two for one. Get a different outlet for your tide line where the return line comes out. You can get one that splits and you can point it 2 different directions, and you could put random flow generators from VCA on the end of it, right? And so not only is it going to split, but those flow generators kind of break that stream of water up and make it go in different directions. So you can split it and you can break up both of the directions with those random flow generators. And then, sorry, somebody has drying some clothes. We buzzed. And then you can move your wave maker so that it's not right there under that intake anymore, because all that suction, that water moving right there, is creating that whirlpool. So once you've done the split, you'll be able to move your wave maker around and change your flow patterns up a little bit. And I think you'll have a better time with it doing it that way. So take a look at those things and see what you think. Martine Exotics. When I cycled, I used bottled ammonium turbo start 900. Tanks thrive in 2 fish, 3 coils. Good. Good. Awesome. Tyrese Rogers said dream catcher.
I don't remember what you were talking about. You were talking about certain kinds of things, I think, but I don't remember.
Dream catcher. I have a dream catcher tattoo, but it's on my back. None of y'all would have ever been able to see it, I don't think. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. That confused me a little bit, Tyrese. If I want a dark cure Marco rock with Microbacter 7, how often do I feed the ammonia? And do I need to do water change for a 2-month period? Okay. Usually what I do when I dark cure rocks like that is I'll set it up. I'll dump an entire bottle of Microbacter 7 or Microbacter XLM or something like that in there. And then I'll just take a small piece of a shrimp tail, like the kind that you would get from the grocery store to eat, and just throw a shrimp tail in there. It's going to dissolve slowly over time, over the next couple of months. It's going to impart ammonia to the tank. The bacteria are going to grow. They're going to cycle. You don't have to do any water changes unless the water gets really nasty or unless ammonia or nitrite go over 5 ppm. But it probably won't, because you only have one small piece of a shrimp tail in there decaying, creating these organics. That's one of the best ways to do it, rather than getting like ammonium chloride or something that you have to keep putting it in there, or ghost feeding the tank where you got to keep putting it in there and all of that. You can just toss a shrimp tail in and let it go that way. I don't like doing it in the tank, but I don't mind doing it like that in a dark cure. We have another super chat question coming through. Best seafood ingredients for making your own fish food that can be purchased at the grocery store. Scallops, shrimp, anything else, and the best way to make it. So I'm just kind of digging into this, right? But there is one main difference that I have seen, and it's that a food processor works better than a blender. A blender chops it up a little bit too fine. You don't end up with as many chunks, but you can still manage with a blender. But a food processor works better. Fresh fish is really good, like whitefish and salmon are both good to do it with. Fresh shrimps, scallops, like you already said, clams, mussels, off-the-shell mussels, those are good. I don't know about oysters. I think they carry too much disease, too much bacteria, stuff like that. But you want to make sure that, and see, it's a double-edged sword, because your thought process would be to wash that stuff. But the best thing to do is to not wash it. So you want to get very clean. You want to buy like sushi grade type stuff, right? Not just the stuff that was once frozen and now it's not. You want to get fresh, clean, never frozen stuff. There is a Reef bum video on YouTube about making your own fish food, and he tells you all about what he uses. And so I would recommend for you to check that out, because I am not making my fish food yet. It is the thing that I want to get into doing. It's just another hobby that I haven't started yet. It keeps rolling around in the back of the head. But I think you're on the right path. Another thing that you might think about is culturing white worms to put into your fish food mix, or even keep them and feed them live. White worms are extremely nutritious, and they are pretty easy to grow too. So I hope that helps at least send you off in the right direction. I do appreciate that super chat. It means an absolute ton. Do you have a par meter? Indeed, I do. Can I keep, I don't know what else you needed to know about par meters, but if you want to ask your question, I'll get to it. Can I keep one Clarkie clownfish and one Ocellaris clownfish together? That's going to be up to the clownfish. Generally speaking, normally I don't recommend that people do that. Different species like that. My coffee's cold and it's about time to do a tank tour, so I'm going to get up. I'll get more coffee when we get done with the tank tour. Did Felicia answer you back?
No, she hasn't even seen it.
Oh, well, if she pops in, then I'm going to do the thing anyway. But yeah, normally I don't recommend that people keep different species of clownfish together. It can be done, but it isn't always a good idea. What all fish do you have? Perfect question to go ahead and take a look at the tank and do a tank tour. And I've got something new in the tank that's a very exciting addition that I'm very happy to have. And so, yeah, let's talk about it. I got my lens here. We're going to use that. Let's go over here. We'll take a look at the sea cardinal first. A lot of people don't know about this tank, so I always like to show it off. This is a 3-gallon Pico tank. It's got a big fireworm in it, and also a harlequin shrimp, pulsing zinnia, Montipora, Stylopora species, hang on the back filter, Dilua pixel light. Pretty cool thing. Got some mushrooms in here. That's a piece of pulsing zinnia that's really not happy and probably needs to come out of there. But anyway, pretty cool tank. So if we come over here, this is what we got going on. So sailfin tang, all the fish are freaking hungry apparently. Bristletooth tang. I've got 3 of these black sort of, there's glare I'm trying to get going. 3 of those black chromies, damsels, somethings. I'm not even sure exactly what species they are. But I've got 3 of those. Fox-faced rabbitfish, 2 black storm clownfish, male and female. Bristletooth tang, cleaner wrasse. Look in there, it's pretty cool. And there's a bang-eye cardinal fish. And there's a big fat chalk bass. Love that fish. Those fish are very underrated. Yeah, he's a big chunky boy. And my 4-striped damsel down there. And there's a possum wrasse that's currently in the overflow, so that's always fun. And this is the new thing. This is an aquacultured elegans coral from Biota. They have a few different colors of these. This one's mostly green, but it's got the pink tips and the really cool pattern on the mantle there. Elegans corals, typically the wild caught ones, have lots of problems with bacterial infections, and they're very hard to keep long term. But Biota has managed to begin aquaculturing these things in Palau, and they're really cool. This was opened up within probably 10 minutes of going into the tank. And it's only been in the tank, what, babe, since like 2 days? And I mean, you can see what it looks like. Super cool. We got mushrooms migrating. He came from over here and is headed that direction, which is a terrible idea for that mushroom to do. These actually pack a pretty powerful sting. So you want to keep them away from other corals, which is why I have it kind of where it's at. But it's a little bit close to that Pavona up there. So yeah, we might have to pull it a little more forward and a little more this way. Eventually, it might go in the back corner over there or something. I moved my Galaxia all the way to the corner over here where it can just do its thing. Rock flower anemones. This is my hammer and torch garden. The fish won't quit photobombing. That is from Terra Reef. That is a green fuzzy acro. I had a bunch of other acropora, big bird's nest coral that I don't know what I'm going to do with because it's huge. And let's see, that Duncan, it's pretty cool. I don't remember if the Duncan, I don't remember where I got the Duncan at. Doesn't matter. That one on the back glass back there, that's a Montipora spongotus. That is growing on the overflow. This is a Terra Reef piece as well. And so is this blue tip acro here. I've got a contraband digitata back there, which is it's a digitata that's two colors. It's red and green. You can see the tip is brown on top, and that's because I had a phosphate spike about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, beginning of June. I suck with dates. I spiked my phosphate up to 1.0, and actually about half of that vertical stalk was receded. It's already grown back about probably 1/4 of an inch. And so very happy to see this one when it grows out finally. Another Terra Reef acro, the little green one there. This is a Garf bonsai that I need to get colored up. It's not right now because the phosphates in the tank are too high. But when that thing's colored up, it's going to be deep purple. This is also a Terra Reef piece, as well as this rainbow Pasillipora. And that is a Walt Disney acro. Pink bird's nest, green slimer, Harry Pavona, Hawkins Enchinata. That is a smooth skin acro. So this is a very cool thing to learn, right? This is not a smooth skin. Let's look at this one. It might be better. Yeah, that is not a smooth skin acro. You can see what the outside of the legs and stalks look like, right? Come down here, look at the Hawkins, and you can see the difference. That's a smooth skin. They're a little harder to keep. This is a Terra Reef piece as well. And when I say Terra Reef, it's Terra. Check out their website. They sent us all of these pieces of corals. And yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. And we're not done yet. Big Blasto, it's much more red in person. That's actually closer to the real color. But with the lens, it's a little orange. It's not actually that orange in person. This Blasto used to be down here, but I moved it up there, and it seems to be happier. So happy about that. Micromusa garden, fuzzy mushroom of some kind that has to color up still. This came from Terra as well. It's a Project X Fungia plate. This came from Terra. I got a lot of Terra Reef corals in this tank. This is an Australian gold torch, and it seems to be pretty happy where it's at, but you can see that dark spot on top. It's under the shade. I might need to get it out from behind that. These two pieces came from Terra. That is a true teal candy cane and a nuclear green next to it. And then around here, we have the Jason Fox pinwheel candy cane, looking absolutely beautiful. And a big feather duster back there. There's a mushroom down in there too. See that mushroom? It's got to grow out, but anyway, so that's most of the corals. Oh, we put these salted agaves in here last week too. Got a little bit of a zoa garden, mushroom garden thing going on down here. And let's see. Yep. Rock candy acro, dragon scale millie. I don't know what this one is. I forget the name of this one, but it's blue and green with yellow polyps. And then that is a, oh, sorry, this is the rock candy. This is a, it was sold to me as a Wolverine, but I think it might be a pink lemonade. But anyway, all pretty stuff. Put this back up there. Zoom out. And let's go take a look in here. talk about earlier about all the extra stuff, right? That's on top of my fish locker. I got skimmers and reactors and all kinds of extra crap and a tomato hanger, the topsy-turvy thing. And then all the junk in the locker and This is the control center for anybody who hasn't seen that yet. All the stuff. And then my macroalgae. It's a coral tank. There's bubble tip NIMS and tons of macro, and there's a big reflection and it's hard to see. And yeah, the lights are on an opposing schedule on this to the main tank. So that's why the lights aren't on. It's full of stomatella snails. Yep, very cool. Absolutely full of them. They're breeding. And then all these other ones are all colonista snails. I'm sorry about the focus. It ain't focusing really well today. So anyway, that is the fish room with all the extra crap. Oh, by the way, I'm testing the Nycrew 135 with my light shade that I've designed. The light shade is going to be on my Etsy store real soon. And we're going to be giving this Nycrew 135 light away to a YouTube or website member here pretty soon. I got to finish my testing first. So anyway, that's the tour. Pretty neat. Now, I need coffee. Whew. Is everybody still able to hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. Let me grab a cup of coffee real quick. Somebody was asked, what's that big bottle of something?
That says marine fish.
Big bottle that says marine. I'll have to go look. Stand by. Coffee time. One cup usually lasts me about an hour. Big. Oh, it's the Brightwell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. So the bottle that said marine in the fish locker was Brightwell Aquatic Phosphate E is what that bottle was. That's what I'm using to maintain the phosphates in my tank right now because it's really powerful. Okay. Let me take a minute. 106 people in the live stream right now. Very, very cool. Very nice. Thank you guys for all the support and all the super chats. Let me move this just slightly. There we go. Okay. So we answered that. Trying to find a good ATO in my sump that doesn't use optical sensors. Your only option is going to be either gravity ATO, which you'll have to DIY that yourself, or you can use a mechanical sensor that has a float on it, and the float moves up and it triggers it and moves down and it stops it, or vice versa. Or you could use a physical, like a float valve, where when the valve comes down, it opens and then it fills up and it closes. But I don't trust those things. I've had 4 of them fail on me in 30 or so years. And so I don't trust them. Lynn, hi. Hello. How you doing? What is the best hair algae eater? So it's going to be a Dolabella sea hair, a Dolabella sea hair. But they typically don't get enough to eat in our aquariums and they end up dying off. And that's not good. They do contain a purple dye that is toxic to the aquarium when they die, but I've learned now that they actually have to eat a specific type of macroalgae to make the toxin. So most of them in aquaria don't actually have that unless you get a wild caught one. But aside from that, zebra snails, turbo snails, ox tongue, and regular nearite snails, they all eat GHA. Blue leg hermit crabs and red leg hermit crabs will as well, but only when it's very small. They won't eat it once it gets long. almost nothing eats it once it's long and wavy. You got to manually remove that stuff and get it out of there. Supposedly results for those fish eating verminated smells are hit and miss. Would love to see some evidence. Yeah, me too. Talking about the shark nose gobies. Man, there's been a lot of stuff that had to have been deleted today. It was one person? Okay, yeah, no worries. Yo, I missed concrete. Yeah, sorry about that, concrete sledge. The notification for your thing never popped up, and I'm so far way behind. Coming from the planted freshwater side, love the group. Love to hear that. Thank you so much. Concrete, if you're still here, would you let me know if the reason that you found us was through some of the more recent content that we are making, talking about the differences between fresh and saltwater, or were you here before that? I'm just curious. Wait a minute. Oh, I already answered that. Okay. Tyrese, first time member. Nice. Lyle says, I guess I'll check in. Thank you so much for stopping by, my man. Appreciate that. There's Albert's super sticker again, which was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Albert. Means the world. Hello, Reef peeps. Been up and down a week for me. Went coral shopping, ended up with SPS and LPS 2 days later. One of the wave makers. That's the way it goes. Yeah, you buy corals, wave maker craps out. It's annoying. But yeah, it happens. Huge fan of acid rain macroalgae, grape caulerpa, and gracilaria. Very cool. I like those all as well. I haven't heard of the acid rain one. The next one that I want to get is some atomic broccoli, but I'm going to have to take a look at the acid rain, see which one you're talking about. My clown just hosted my hair algae. Should I get a lawnmower Blenny to help? It'll help. He's not going to solve the problem for you, but he'll probably help, especially the area of the tank where the hair algae is just kind of beginning. And it's just fuzzy. It's not long yet. They really like that. So that's super cool. Terra Reef is in with the $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Terra Reef. It means an absolute ton, man. And I didn't realize how much stuff is in this tank that actually came from you. But that's super cool. Reef Rookies rocks. Love seeing the tank doing well. We should catch up sometime soon. We have some top secret projects coming this fall from Terra Reef I could use your thoughts on. Cool. Love to talk to you about that. And again, thank you so much for the super chat. My clown we talked about that already. I'm trying to keep a little blue and red algae in my mixed reef. It collects green hair algae and my hermit crabs feast on it. I'm trying to keep a little blue and red algae in my mix. Do you mean that the green hair seems to grow on the blue and the red? I'm a little confused. But yeah, keeping algae is a very good thing. I have a branching hammer with 8 heads. My clownfish won't host it. That's actually good. You don't want your clownfish to do that. They can upset corals to the point where those corals die off. So yeah. Let's see. Retep says frag money. Thank you so much for the $5. Wonder what I could find as far as frags go for $5. I might. Yeah, we're gonna put it in the fund for sure. But yeah, so I had this idea for a very long time, something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to call it $5 frags. And it didn't matter what it was. All frags were $5. Didn't matter what the frag was of. It was just $5 frags, and that was what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I have since realized that that is not profitable and probably would, in fact, cost additional money to run that. But anyway, it was a thing that I wanted to do. So instead of that, my plan for the future is once this tank begins growing out to the point where I have to begin fragging the corals and stuff like that, and I have a frag system, I'm going to offer my frags at pretty severe discounts for my supporting members, my YouTube channel members and my website members. And it will be announced to them and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that all when it happens because it hasn't happened yet. But that's kind of the plan in the back of the head right now. It'd be another way to offer something more to the people who are supporting monthly like that.
Concrete Sledge said the recent content mercifully found you.
The recent content grabbed you, did it? Very cool, man. Very cool. There are a few Jabo UV inline sterilizers available pretty cheap on Amazon. Yeah, they are. There's always some new stuff popping out in the hobby. There's so many conversations happening right now. Yeah, I'm having trouble keeping up with all of them. Tyrese says I could do it like first time member. Not sure what you mean, my friend. My clown won't go into my anemone. That happens a lot, as a matter of fact. It's not something you can force. The Black Storm clowns that I have in this tank, I don't even see them right now. Oh, they're down here at the bottom, right down there. They don't care about anemones at all. They could care less. Just whatever, don't care. Never seen one in the wild. Well, they didn't come from the wild. They were aquaculture. Robert is a tattoo artist. That's very cool. I got some equipment and was practicing for a while, and I thought I was doing a pretty good job, but I just did not have the time to put into it to actually get to a good level. I wasn't even comfortable to the point yet where I wanted to tattoo myself. But it was a cool thing that I tried for a while on fake skin and whatnot, and then I sold everything because I didn't have time. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I love my Innovative Marine 20 long. It's a very cool tank. Yeah, I like those tanks too.
That's what I want, is a long, a 20 long.
What you want is like a 20 extra long. A 20 long isn't really, it's 3 feet long by 12 by 12. So it's a foot square and 3 feet long. So, yeah, your tank is probably going to have to be custom made. I know how to do it. I've done it before, but I need another project like I need a hole in the head. Yeah. I thought that you would have left I thought that you would have your left the RODI on t-shirt on today. Not today. I didn't do it this week. I did it last week.
The last video you made, though.
The last video I made, I had it, yeah.
Yeah, last week's video, yeah.
Just curious, why do you not keep your UV on all the time? I run mine 24/7. The main reason is because I am running three things. I'm running the Triton method of reef keeping, which is the tank, a very large algae refugium, and a large skimmer in a sump. That's the methodology of reef keeping. It's called the Triton method. So there's that. I'm also running Triton Labs Core 7 Flex program for calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, which also has, because of the flex part of the program, it has trace elements in there for the macroalgae. And I'm running the Triton Labs MITE Master Your Trace Elements program. And Triton's recommendation is that with their programs, you don't run your UV 24/7. Run it if there's a problem, but don't run it if there's not a problem, because it can react with the trace elements and it hazes up the quartz sleeve and all of these other things, right? Also, there's basically two sides of the fence on UV with reef tanks. There's the side of the fence that you're on, where you run it 24/7, change the bulbs once a year, clean the quartz sleeve every 6 months, whatever. And the tank runs great, perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with it, whatever. Some people run their tank that way. Then there's the other side of the fence, where it's people like me who either use it when they need it or they don't use one at all. Both ways work. Both ways potentially have pros and cons, but unfortunately, there's not been any scientific study yet that shows one way is more beneficial than the other way. People who run theirs 24/7 and have good results will swear by it. People who don't run one and also have good results will swear that you don't need one. I do know that there was some people for a while. It's one of those things, like, if you're going to run your UV 24/7 and you begin doing that, you almost have to keep doing it. It's kind of like cleaning the sand bed. There was a guy, when Aquabiomics was still doing their DNA bacterial testing and things like that, he had his tank running. Tank was running a long time, UV on 24/7. He pulled a microbiome test, got the sort of printout of what the bacteria were doing in the tank, and then he stopped running the UV. and let it run. It stopped it for like a couple weeks. Then he did another DNA test, got the bacterial thing back, and the amount of Vibrio that was in the tank was like way higher than it was before. But we need more study into the bacterial diversity of reef keeping, because we don't honestly know truly if Vibrio is good, if it's bad, if it's pathogenic, if it's not pathogenic. Do we want it? Do we not want it? We don't know. Because every reef tank has it. There's Vibrio in all of them. I have it in mine. I've done DNA tests. It's in there. Could I run UV and get rid of it? Probably. Do I need to? Obviously not, because I'm doing half an inch a month on some of my acros right now. So I don't know. It's one of those things. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people don't think it's necessary. Some people wouldn't have a tank without it. And all of that is valid, But that's why I do it. Triton said don't. That was a whole lot of words for Triton said don't. Oh, yeah, we have a drawing to do. It's for some stickers and a little 3D print little tag that says turn off the RODI. So I'm just going to do it from over here. I'm tired.
Okay, that's fine.
She's going to spin the wheel. It's going to spit out a number. That number is going to correspond with a person who is in our list for the giveaway.
The list is of people who helped push the post in Facebook for the August updates. So everybody that commented on that got entered into this. So if you're in the Facebook group, look for my post.
If you're in the Facebook group, the list of people for this giveaway was generated from the comments of the people who helped push the August announcement from Reef Rookies LLC in the group. So those are the people who are on the list. So here we go. We're going to do a little spinny thing. Spinny, 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 spinny. And I'm not going over there, guys. I'm sorry. You just have to trust me that we're telling you who it really is. Because we are. I wouldn't lie to you about something like this. Wouldn't lie to you at all. Which number?
Number 54.
54.
And that was Paula Gray.
What is it?
Paula
Gray. Paula Gray. You are the winner of some Reef Rookies stickers and a little 3D printed tag. This says turn the RODI off. Let's see. Ryan Tomaine, what's up, man? Nice to see you here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Ryan and Albert are both in their moderators of the group. Sean is also a moderator of the group. Those are the three. And Jay, too, as well. Glad to finally make a live. Love the group videos and everything it stands for. Thank you so much, Ryan. And I really appreciate your and all the other moderators' very helpful comments in the group. I know everybody's super busy, but when you have time to do that, it means a lot. You guys are helping out, doing really good things. Tara says, very few people do ick free. We strive to keep every fish, disease, parasite out of our systems. Yeah, it is almost impossible to guarantee an ick free system. That's just how it is. You would have to do so much QT to make that happen that it's almost impossible for most people to have the ability to do that. It's just one drop of infected water that goes from another system to your tank when the ick is in the free swimming stage, and it's back in the tank again. It's nearly impossible. Almost everyone is doing ick management. All right, let's see here. Michael is talking to Josh. Yo, Sean's in the house. Thank you so much for stopping by. Kimberly did get a notification. That's very good. Let's see. Go hit the like button. Yes, I dose Phyto for my filter feeders. It's a good idea. Yeah, especially like clams and stuff. I'm having to dose phosphate and nitrate because my tank's foul. Who is this? Psych Nautical. Okay. My tank is fallow. Do those dosed nutrients not stay in the system as long? Seems they drop back down pretty quickly. The system is just sucking them up. So you might have to increase your dose amount a little bit if you're going to try to keep those nutrients up while there's no fish in there, because you're not feeding the fish and there's also no fish poop. So you might have to just increase the amount that you're dosing. Have the Hyger gyre with the new controller on a 60 breeder, and it's very good for the money. I agree. Yeah, Red Rose said, oh, that's actually a great idea. Well, thank you. I thought of it. I wasn't the first one to think of it. No. Yeah, I think that's probably a good situation for your tank, Red Rose, is to do those things that I've mentioned earlier. Knights has a square tank, 2 power heads, one on either side. One pushes water along the back, the other pushes water from the top middle of the tank. That's a good way to do it too. Very cool. Let's see. Thibodeau Pierce says, hey, first time catching a stream from you. Well, I hope you're still. Wow. God, what just happened? That was a glitch in the matrix or something. I hope you're still here, and thank you so much for stopping by. Mike says, how would I set up a sump filtration in a 75-gallon now? I have a flue vault canister that seems to do its job, but would a sump be better, and why? Sumps are generally considered to be better because they're easier to maintain. The equipment's easier to get to. They add some additional volume to the water, which makes things a little more stable. You can run better equipment like protein skimmers and things like that in the sump. So for those reasons, and they take some equipment out of the display and they move it out of the display so the display is nice and clean, nothing hanging in there, right? Those are the reasons that people like sumps over like canister filters and stuff. But canisters work just fine as long as you maintain them correctly. You know, you want to be changing the filters out or at least cleaning the thing once a week. And the reason that people say that is because trapped detritus, trapped fish food, all that kind of stuff, it begins to decay on about the 4th day that it's in the tank. So you feed the fish, that fish food makes it through the filter, gets stuck in the canister filter. On about the 4th day of that food being in there, it begins to break down and decay. That's when it begins imparting nutrients into the tank. Same thing happens in a filter sock. That's why filter rollers are so good at stripping nutrients out of a tank, because they don't keep it in the water long enough for it to begin degrading. But in a canister filter, if you're not cleaning it out weekly, it can. So it starts to break down on day 4, continues over for 3 or 4 days until it's completely gone. It's become other things, dissolved organics and whatnot. So cleaning those canisters weekly is very important. But if you wanted to go to a sump, you could. If the tank is already running, you would have to use hang on the back overflow box equipment to get the water down to the sump. And you can. A lot of people do that. A lot of people run that. You okay? Sandy has a headache. That is not good. I'm probably screaming. Sorry.
I've been looking at a screen.
You need a screen break. You've been going hard this week. Y'all have no idea how much work she puts in on the back end of all this. She has done like 6 14-hour days straight trying to make all of this work along with me. So yeah, she needs a screen break. We're probably both taking a complete day off tomorrow. I've had my 30-gallon cube for 8 years now and would like your opinion. Cool. I think I was just talking to you about something else. Oh, no. Yeah, go ahead. Ask your questions. You did. Okay, we'll get there. For dosing your own overflow, for doing your own overflow, look at the Modular Marine. They have the best design. Yeah, cool. Tara says, Felicia doesn't work on the weekends. I figured that was the case, but she said she might stop by because they sent me the Elegance, and she said she was kind of wanting to see it, but she's not working, so that's no big deal. All my LPS does well for 1 to 2 years, and then heads come loose. I suspect my flow to be the culprit. It is unidirectional and no pulse. Could that be possible? For the rest, all looks good and stable. It could be, yes. So that there's a term for that. It's called polyp bailout. When the heads come loose from the LPS, and it could be from too much unidirectional flow. Absolutely. Pulsing flow isn't necessarily a thing that we have to have. In fact, wave flow, where the coral's kind of doing like this, just jiggling back and forth, it's actually not a good type of flow. It doesn't move the water in and then out of the coral. It keeps the same water moving right within the coral, and it kind of gets stale in there. So it's fine to do it for a little bit of time during the day, but you want to have a different pattern running most of the day to move fresh, clean water through the corals and flush them out, kind of. But too much flow in one direction, yes, it can cause polyp bailout. So you might want to change wave makers, adjust your flow style, do it slowly if the rest of your tank has been used to this for a couple of years. Add a wave maker, turn the pulse down, turn it on another mode, play with the intensity to get things to move around in a non-unidirectional way. It would be a good idea. Yep. The Xenia will come back. Trust me. Oh, yeah, it probably will. I cut some off a wall and glued it to a plug. Yep. Elegance coral looks good. Thank you, Sean. Where do you get your rock flower nems? Love the show, by the way. Well, thank you so much, Yoko. I appreciate that. All of my rock flower anemones have come from local fish stores at trade shows. So we have some local trade shows that go on around here. We got a pretty big reef keeping community down here in southern Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. So there's some trade shows that happen locally. So the stores bring their stuff to the trade shows and they sell them there. My throat's already getting cooked. But yeah, that's where it's because of the way I speak. So I've got to tone it down. I get so excited though. But yeah, so my rock flower nems, they're down here. I only paid like 30, 40 bucks a piece for those. And they're several years old. This one we've had now for, probably almost 4 years, the big rock flower nem. Yeah, he has been through 3 tank crashes, 2 tank moves, all kinds of stuff. They're super resilient once they're healthy. Josh wants to know, can you explain your flow? Right now, my flow is crap, so I don't want to talk about it. Exactly what you aim for and how to obtain perfect flow, how to tell if it's too much or not enough. I don't think perfect flow exists in a reef tank. We just don't have a way to do it properly enough to make perfect flow happen. Because if you think about the ocean, there's always currents that are moving one way, then the tide changes and they move the other way, right? We simulate that with our wave makers, but there's also at the same time in the ocean, usually on reefs, there's waves crashing through. It's churning bubbles up through the corals and all of that stuff, and it's knocking all the detritus loose and throwing it up in the water column. It's carried to the beach. The sand acts as a protein skimmer, so it takes that stuff, it's deposited on the beach, it breaks down there, the sand filters the water, and it goes back into the ocean, flows back the other way, down near the rocks. It's very hard to replicate that in a reef tank. It's been done. A few people have managed it. Usually they have really massive budgets. And it's very interesting to see what happens to a tank when you can have something like a surge system, like a Carlson surge device on the tank at the health of the corals. It's amazing, but it's hard to do. The more small wave makers you can put into a tank, the better. So it would be like my tank, right? I've got the gyre on this end. I've got the gyre on the other end. That's really my only flow in the tank. And so my tank this one is aimed up right here at the water. So it comes up and it hits and it rolls across the top, comes back down under the bottom this way. The other one's on the top over here and it blows across the top, which collides with the water from this one. So right here in the middle, it's got a down swell, which is the opposite of what I want. I want it to be an up swell that goes into the overflow. So I kind of have this rolling flow on this side of the tank like this. And I have the same thing over here that's a rolling flow on this side of the tank like this. And that is not at all what I want. So I have more wave makers coming from DeLua here real soon, pod style, that are going to get put on the back walls. And they are going to interrupt that with other flow patterns, because the goal that we want is random turbulence. We don't want things blowing this way, and we don't want things blowing this way. We want things just randomly spinning and flopping and flipping around, and always with the mindset of lifting the detritus up off the sand bed so it can go through the overflows and into the filtration. Flow is very hard. It's a very complicated topic. There's a lot of different ways to do it. The most egregious thing that I have ever seen, and I mean that in the best way possible, is Richard Ross's tank. He's got like 20 something wave makers or different flow points aimed at all over the different places in the tank. It's nuts. His tank looks like a lab experiment gone wrong, and in the coolest way possible. Yeah. Don't tell him I said that. Or do. It's fine. He and I are pretty good friends. Well, we're pretty good acquaintances anyway. Good to see the Terra Reef coral still doing well. Yeah, I haven't actually lost a single thing that has come here from Terra Reef. Every coral that I have received from Terra Reef is still in the tank. None of them have died. And that is just a testament to those corals' strength and your ability to keep them and grow them. Rainbow stylo, isn't that what I said? I also have a Bill Murray right now, a Walt Disney right next to it. So I said that right after that. But I thought I said rainbow stylo. But either way, oh my God, I'm so far behind. So far behind.
The next set of questions are just on stuff. It's all about this when you're doing the tank tour. So.
Best color, moderate lighting. Yeah, I know. I need to move the Aussie Gold into a more. Either need to move it into more light, or I need to kick on my my strips, because I've got the X4 SPS Beast bundle from Delua on this tank, and I'm not running any of the Vitamini strips because there's just too much par. Can hear you fine. Okay, good. Okay, so it says Tupac, but I think you meant two Pop Bloom RL60s equidistant apart on my 55 enough to get an anemone. Probably not. You're probably going to want RL90s for a NIM. I don't think the 60s are going to give you enough par all the way down through the water into the bottom. I mean, you certainly could put two RL60s on the 55, but I don't think it's going to give you enough par to have an anemone and keep it happy. Gavin says, always appreciate your help. Always appreciate your support, for sure. Courtney says, like a toilet flush valve. Yes, exactly that. That's exactly how they work. The very first ones that I remember in the hobby, that's what they were. People were using those components, new, obviously, but they were using those components to build exactly that. And they would have a gravity drain, like a 5-gallon bucket with a tube coming out of the bottom of it, going down to those components. And when the toilet floater fell, it would fill up the tank and it was an automatic top off. Yeah, that's where it came from. Yep. Snail guard for the float version. For the float version? Float? Oh, float ATO. Yeah, snail guard. I don't have snails in my sump, so I wouldn't have to worry about it. But some people might. Decided to swap over to my farm channel. Cool. Oh, you're back? Awesome. My wife said you're back. That's cool. Have watched many of your videos and just realized I was not subscribed. What? Well, thank you for becoming a subscriber. I appreciate it. Gavin says, can a bleached rock flower anemone regain color and how? Yes, it can. You want to put it in a lower par area of the tank. Like my rock flowers down here are only getting about 85 to maybe 95 par. They're not getting much. Mostly you want to get it in lower par and leave it alone. Don't feed it. You maybe feed it a little bit of fish food, but nothing big. And just let it do its thing. It'll take it a while to recover. Yoku has turbo snails eating the GHA in their tank. That's super awesome. Josh says, where do you see reefing products and chemicals and equipment in the next 10 to 20 years? Do you think we'll have a concentrated liquid salt instead of buckets of salt? A concentrated liquid salt. Concentrated, no. We already have salt water that you can just buy in a jug. Concentrated has issues because there are some basic laws of chemistry that we just can't break. There's only so much of certain elements that you can put together in solution before they combine and become something else and fall out of solution. We're bound by the laws of chemistry there. But as far as the rest of the hobby goes, there are several things that are very exciting. Lighting is always ever changing. We're learning more and more about lighting. So I can see lighting spectrums and what we understand to be best for the tank getting more research. We're finding out now that spectrums we thought didn't penetrate as deeply into the ocean, like the reds and greens and whites, may actually penetrate deeper than we thought. So, you know, testing equipment and things are going to improve. We're going to learn more about that for sure. Another place that I think that we're going to learn more about that people are actually doing research on right now are ways to combat fish pathogens and aquarium problems like, let's just say, uranema in fish. No, let's not say uranema. Y'all got to bear with me sometimes because I'm pulling all this straight off the top of my head. I'm not prepared for any of this. I haven't thought about any of it yet. So let me put it to you this way. The guys over at Polo Reef, Andrew Sandler and those guys, they're working with the university up there to combat bacteria in our tanks. So let's just say like cyanobacteria, right? Nobody wants it. It's in everybody's tank. It's just whether or not it's a problem at this moment. There's a thing in the world, in the living world, called a bacteriophage, Phage. Some people say bacteriophage. That thing's purpose is to destroy that bacteria. So it has legs. It looks really weird, like an alien, right? And it crawls along and it finds the bacteria. It latches onto it and it injects its own DNA into the bacteria with a harpoon. That DNA combines with the bacteria's DNA and it either kills the bacteria or it duplicates itself within the bacteria. The bacteria explodes and now there are more bacteriophages. That's how they replicate themselves and make more. Andrew Sandler and the guys at Polo Reef and the university that they're in conjunction with up there are researching if we can isolate those bacteriophage and bottle them, and also which ones go with what. So it's entirely possible 10, 15 years from now, you will go to your fish store and say, hey, I've got some cyanobacteria in my tank. And they will reach into the cabinet behind the counter back there, and they will pull out a bottle of cyanodeath, you know, and you take that back to your tank and you pour it in, and it's a biological nuclear weapon against cyanobacteria. And then once the cyano is gone, the bacteriophage has no more cyano to grow itself with and replicate, and it dies off, and there's nothing in your tank anymore. So it's very possible that we see that coming in the next 10, 15, 20 years in the hobby. And it would be cool. I think that there's probably going to have to be an enormous amount of regulation around that, which is not something we have a lot of in the hobby at the moment. Literally anyone can grow phytoplankton in their house and sell it online. There's zero regulation pretty much. Anyway, yeah, I think that reefing has not yet hit its pinnacle. Speaking of ox tongue, my local fish store does not carry them. Are they common? They are not so common. I've actually never seen a fish store carry ox tongue nearite snails. Great cleaner, awesome cleaners. Reefcleaners.org usually has them. And if you order them, tell them that you heard about them from Reef Rookies with Logan. What? Oh, I got to go faster. Starting a frag tank. Should I cycle the tank, and is there any additive for frag tank for frags grow? You could cycle the tank. It's going to cycle in the end anyway. It's not as important with only having coral frags in there, and there are no additives that I would just say that you should use just because. It's more about nutrients and elemental balance in the tank. So I would not say don't put like Acro Power or anything like that in there. Just do what the tank needs. You know, check your parameters, make sure your elements and nutrients are where they should be, and then there you go. You might have to begin adding trace elements and stuff like that. Do you live stream every week and on the same day? Yes, I live stream every Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on this channel on YouTube. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's get caught up a little bit. My emerald crab has been destroying the long hair algae. Cool. That usually doesn't happen. Acid rain and atomic broccoli are the same, just different names. Oh, I got you. I wasn't familiar with that. Liquido says hello from Italy. Hello back. I have some growing on my 4-gallon with the grape clerpa I was talking about. Very, very cool. I've got 2 clowns hosting hair algae as well. Clownfish are silly, man. When filling a tank for the first time that has a sump, do you fill the main tank and let it overflow and fill the sump? I've done it both ways. It really doesn't matter as long as all the water gets in there. I filled up the tank and let it overflow and fill the sump. I filled the sump first to where I think it's going to be, and then fill the tank, kick the pumps off, and top it off. It doesn't matter. Robert said, still watching. Very cool. What's your favorite or dream acropora? There's a bunch of them. I want to get a bunch of the older OG acros. One of the ones that comes to mind is Red Robin. That's a good one. A Paletta pink tip. That's a cool one that I would like to have. I'd like to get a forest fire digi. You know, that's an old one, but a good one. I mean, those are cheap. No, you know, whatever. It's not an acro either. It's digitata, but some of those ones, pink lemonade. Anyway, I can't remember all the names right now, but some of the old OG acros are really what I'm after at this point. Try abalones if you can get them. They're lawnmowers, but they grow fast. Yeah, they're quite dirty as well. Oh, there was another super from Red Rose. My hermits devour macroalgae too. Yeah, they will, unfortunately. Thank you so much for that super as well. I really appreciate it. Answered that. Good afternoon, Possum Bayou. Nice to see. Love the name. Connecting. I'm back. Love that Reef Rookies. Love that Reef Rookies. I actually want to do the same type of thing off.
The $5 frag.
Oh, the $5 frag thing. Yeah, got you. Cool. Ryan says, I finally caught a live. Yeah. 20 long is less than 3 foot. Oh, I thought it was 3 foot. That's my bad. I haven't looked at one in a long time, so I was going off the brain. I had 3 corals die because I was not able to get my water change maintenance done for almost 3 weeks. My bubble tip shriveled up and wasn't happy at all. Interesting. I mean, I guess maybe parameters just got out of whack. If you've been doing the water changes and you stopped, maybe that's what took place. Maybe alkalinity fell or something like that. Yeah. Soft coral not growing for a long time. Do you know why? That's going to come down to nutrients and trace elements, probably. Possibly lighting. I doubt it, but possibly lighting. It might not be strong enough. Yeah, it's really hard for me to know why without knowing like all the specific things about your tank. But jump into the Facebook group, which we have a private Facebook group, everybody. It's Reef Rookies with Logan. Answer both questions and agree to the rules if you would like to join and participate in the group. Ghosts says, been 2 weeks now, bubble tip looking better, new Duncan doing well. Great. It says MTS. Yeah, no doubt. My nitrate spikes because I'm afraid to rinse my ceramic media in the refugium area. Lost a few amount of pods. You should not have detritus building up anywhere in the sump or anything like that. So if you have problems with that, you need to get that resolved. Fluff that up, blow it up, do whatever you got to do to get that filtered out. But you don't have to rinse ceramic media. That's not a thing that you have to do. Nitrate can be spiking if there is a lot of detritus breaking down in the sump. So double check on that. Terra does not run UV on a reef tank, but QT things in a significant way, for sure. I always worry that it will reduce beneficial bacteria. I think we were talking about UV when you said that, and UV is not a thing that reduces beneficial bacteria. Most people say there's no bacteria in the water That's not technically true. The nitrifying bacteria are not in the water. They're on the rocks and the sand and substrate, hard surfaces. But there are bacteria in the water. I put a leopard wrasse in my tank a week and a half ago and have not seen him once. Yeah, they can be like that though. You'll look in there, you know, and he'll just be out all of a sudden. There's a firefish in this tank somewhere, but we've only seen him one time. He's in there, but I don't know. I got the Pop Bloom 60 light shade from you guys last week. Looks nicer in person than I expected. Very cool. I'm glad you're happy with it. Thank you so much for ordering that. It means a lot. Your name is Toby. You going to the Frag in the Boot event at Aqua Hut on 9/12? Probably not. I typically don't get to make very many events. I'm extremely busy. Sandy gasping over another project. Yeah. Colorblind Reaper says, I'm running late from doing yard work. What I missed. Man, there's so much stuff I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Greg says, first time watcher. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I hope you like what you saw and subscribe to the channel. My tank is 100% ick free, and I'm done adding fish now, so it should remain that way, I hope. I'm curious, how have you verified that it's 100% ick free? Maybe you know something I don't know, and I'd love to learn about it, because I don't really think there's a way to guarantee that. And maybe you didn't mean literally, you know what I mean? But I'm just curious. Just watched your video on ick and learned more than I knew already. If anyone here has not watched it, I would recommend watching it. Very cool. Thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate that. Reef Wizards, got to do tank maintenance and change one of my RO filters. Thanks for the live. You're very welcome. I'm glad to see you guys here. I'm trying to blow through some of these because I'm so far behind, guys. See you drink coffee reminds myself I need a cup. Yes, you do. I'm setting up my first ever saltwater tank. It's a 200-gallon water box. Finding your videos very helpful. Super cool. That is awesome. Way to swing for the fences right out of the gate there with a 200-gallon as your first tank. It's going to be very enjoyable. You're going to have a lot of fun setting that thing up. Added a flame, hawkfish, and clowns were cool for 3 or 4 days. Then they started really going after them. That happens, unfortunately. David Penn has a great question. Is there a way to skip the ugly phase, or is it just inevitable? There are ways to skip it, and the way that you do that is by using live rock and live sand from the ocean. Even then, you might still get some ugly stuff showing up during the ugly phase. It's a super important part of the tank's life. There's too much discussion about how do I get rid of the ugly phase. That is something that you want to happen. We want the tank to go through that as its microbiome matures. We need that bacterial movement and those ugly things, cyano and diatoms and things like that, to begin out competing one another so that we can build that balanced microbiome that we want. It is inevitable and it is important, and I don't think that we should try to skip it. But we can make it less by using good quality source water, like RODI water, and live rock and sand from the ocean. Yeah, it's going to happen no matter what. That's true, but there are certainly ways that we can mitigate it a little bit, like Ghost is talking about. Cleanup crew in place, copepods early. Yeah, all that stuff's good. Sean says, I'm going to post the macroalgae tank and the coral QT grow out later. Cool. QT uses the frag grading stands from the Reef Rookies website. Very nice. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay. I have a 25-gallon with only 2 clownfish. Tank's been running for almost 2 months. How often would you check the water parameters? Every week. Once a week. Every week. Same day, same time. I do mine on Wednesday. Wednesday morning. Coffee. Testing. It's automatic. Might have to move it to another day, though, because we're kind of changing some things around. But yeah, check it weekly. Keep a log, either a handwritten log or a log on an app, which I don't like, because if the app changes, then you don't have your crap anymore. If you write it down, you do. Or you can put it in an Excel spreadsheet or just a document on your phone or something like that. But keep a log. Keep a log. Keep a log. Keep a log. Keep a log of everything that's happened to your tank. Because if the tank is cruises for 8 months and then something happens, you can look back at that log and what's going on now, and there might be something in there that can tell you what's going on. Not keeping a log is like buying a car with no maintenance history, or like, even more to the point, buying an airplane that wouldn't have a logbook. You can't do it. It's illegal to sell an airplane without a logbook. There has to be a log of the maintenance that's happened on the airplane. Reef tanks should be the same way. You're flying blind without a log. Hi, Logan. Hello, Eric. Tank has a bit of hair algae. Turn the reds in my lights down. Can I do anything else to get rid of? Thanks in advance. Your channel is great for the newbies. Cool. I'm glad you feel that way. I have a lot of fun making it. It's also a lot of freaking work. But for hair algae, yes, maintain your parameters, check them, find out where they are, see if anything is out of whack, like your phosphates being too high or something like that. Double check your cleanup crew. Most tanks are way under population on cleanup crew. And it's not intentional. It's not like you said, I'm not going to keep that many cleaners in my tank. It's just a thing that happens. You should be shooting for about 1 cleaner member per gallon of water. So for me, 250-gallon system, I should have roughly 250 members in my cleanup crew. Now, some of those can be very tiny, like dwarf seraph snails. Some of them can be huge, like urchins and conchs and things like that. So, there's a balance to play there with all the things that you have. But the thing that I would say about cleanup crew is you want it to be diversified. You don't want 250 Astrea snails. You want 250 things of as many different species of things as you can get. Reefcleaners.org is my favorite place to go. I go to the website, I click on the tab that says tank cleaners, and it's all their cleanup crew organisms listed from A to Z. And I go through there, and anything that I'm like, yeah, that looks cool, boop, put it in the cart. You're going to save money doing it that way because they charge you like $50 in shipping, which I get it. Everybody does. Let's see. Jamie, hello. Nice to see you here. Lots of hair algae questions, comments today, paying attention. Yeah, your tank has just hit the ugly phase really hard, Jamie. You're just going to have to maintain it and just work through it. Make sure your cleaner organisms are up to the task like I was just talking about. And also, thanks for stopping by the live stream. I hope you're having a good day. The Rod Father, okay. Complete beginner, looking for tips on getting rid of hair algae. Boy, you guys definitely got a lot of hair algae questions today. Must be in the air. It can actually, by the way, be in the air. Julian Sprung has mentioned several times that during the spring, when the pollen is flowing, outside the trees with the pollen and all that stuff, that his tank gets cyanobacteria. Every year, like clockwork, it gets cyano. 3 weeks later, when the pollen stops, it goes away. The only problem for me is I live in Louisiana. The pollen never stops. But yes, this is not a question, but thank you for doing the live today. I've been going crazy trying to find a light that not only fits, but easy to program. Cool. Do you need suggestions? I'm sorry, I was reading some other stuff. Are you looking for suggestions, or did you already pick one, or what's going on there, colorblind? Ghost says, my emerald crab and hermits have done a great job on the rocks to combat GHA. The snails are taking care of the glass. Very cool. Kelly says, hello, Reef fam. Welcome to the stream, Kelly. I got myself an emerald crab, tackled GHA, but it came down after being 24 hours in the tank to find my peppermint shrimp chown on it. Yeah, that happens, unfortunately. Yeah. Cleaners are one of those things that we always have to keep replenishing over time because something's going to eat them. They're going to die. It's just the way it goes. It's about time for me to have to get some more for my main tank here too. If you have Caulerpa taxifolia, the hermits can eat it all they want and won't make a dent. Yeah. Let's see. Will adding multiple fish at once spike ammonia, and what is the best way to add fish? It can potentially do that. It depends on the size of the fish, size of the tank. 250 gallons, I could add 4 or 5 fish if I wanted to this tank with no problem. But a 15-gallon tank, I wouldn't recommend doing that. So it really depends. And the best way to add fish to the tank is first to quarantine those fish to make sure that they don't bring a pathogen into the tank. And then second, if it's like a tang or something like that, do an acclimation box in the tank for 2 weeks. Feed them in the acclimation box along with the other fish. It reduces aggression. But for most smaller fish, just doing the quarantine, and then as long as the temperature and the parameters are pretty close to one another, just plop them right over in the main display after the QT. You're good to go. Kelly is changing sumps and location to help with maintenance and equipment management. What is the best way to do this? Oof. My current sump has a lot of biome as far as sponges, pods, etc. What is the best way? I really don't know. That's a difficult question to answer. It depends on where you're, like where it is and where you're going and like a bunch of different stuff. But I mean, probably I would take things out. I would separate the sump from the main display, let the main display run just by itself. It can, and manage the parameters in there. Take everything out of the sump, use as much of the water as you can, but it's going to make a mess. You're going to have some new salt water on hand to fill it back up with. And I mean, swap as much over as you can. I would probably vacuum out as much junk from the bottom of the sump as I could before I did any of this. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a real hard question to answer without seeing everything that you're trying to do. Yeah, I wish I could say more than that, but hopefully that helps. I apologize if it doesn't. Indigo says, have you considered trying the gyre on the left towards the back wall vertically? Yep, tried it. Didn't like it. Just didn't have the flow pattern that I was looking for in the tank. Have you checked into the new Nicrew Reef lights? Oh, you're talking to Colorblind. I agree. The new Nicrew lights are very good. Whole tank was wiped out by velvet or ick, not sure. I got all 3 fish at the same time from the same place. Do I need to tear the whole tank down? If all of your fish are gone now, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that happened. That sucks. But if all the fish are gone, leave the tank fishless for 80 to 90 days, and the ick and velvet will die off. They will not be able to continue their life process because they require a fish as a host for one phase of their life cycle. So with no fish, they get to that phase and die. It takes 80 to 90 days to do it properly. That's with a little bit of insurance. Some people say 72, some people say 76. I go 90 because I want to make sure it's dead, you know? So I have mollies in my 40 and they hide in the rockwork all the time because of the clownfish. They are there, but I only see them during maintenance. Yeah, fish can be jerks like that. Could aqua biome DNA test to confirm no ick? No. There is a test that you can do that will tell you if ick is in your tank, but the aquabiomics testing didn't do that. And also aquabiomics is closing their doors. They're not going to be available anymore. Colorblind says, yes, I have one in my Amazon cart. Very cool. Tim, what's up, man? Just now getting here. No worries. Happy to have you here at least for the last little bit here. Wednesday is my favorite day to test as well. Unfortunately, my start of a new job keeps me paying. You got to change to Saturday or Sunday? I hear you. Me too. Probably something like that. I just vacuumed the sump for the first time. Canister before TMC Reef Habitat, 11 months old. Very cool. Very cool, Liquido. Well, I hope that your tank does very well for you, and I hope you're happy with it. Jessica says, most informative today. I always try to be. Sometimes the brain isn't firing on all cylinders, if you know what I mean. Can we get rid of this Tyrese person? Thank you. Appreciate that. Please don't come in my streams and just comment nonsense. It slows down the process. Just now making it into the stream, I wanted to say we received our 3D printed media baskets from you in record time, and I love them so much. I'm super happy about that because somebody else is in my Etsy messages right now telling me that their 3D printed media basket doesn't fit in their Triton sump, which it was designed directly for, and most all of them fit. So I think their sump maybe is a little off or something, which sucks super bad. But I'm going to make it right because that's just the type of person that I am. It's not their fault that their sump is a little bit different. Not my fault either, but I'm going to make it right. Sean Stark says, I love Reef Cleaners. Used to do custom cleanup crews and tell them tank size and any issues. Yeah, it is cool when they do stuff like that for sure. Ghost says, what I mean by 100% know it, all fish go into a QT tank for 3 weeks before they go into the main tank. Okay, so that absolutely does not guarantee that you don't have ick in your main display. And I'm not trying to pick on you or anything. I was just trying to see what you were doing. If you knew something that I didn't, maybe there was a new method or something I hadn't heard about. 3 weeks in QT is not long enough. It's good that you're doing it, but you need to go longer than that. Even if you're running copper, 14 days is the absolute minimum. So 3 weeks is just a little bit longer than that. I would do 30 days in QT on copper and then 2 weeks of observation after that. I know that's excessive, but I do not want anything in my main display. But my rocks don't come out. These rocks are glued into this tank. So if I have to catch fish, I've got to drain 180 gallons of water into something, and I don't have 4 55-gallon drums. Which is crazy to look at this tank and realize that it takes 4 55-gallon drums almost to drain that volume of water out of there. But it does. It's weird like that. I hadn't added cleanup crew yet. Should I add some inverts while going fishless? You can, but anything that you add to the tank has the potential to bring a pathogen in. So getting those inverts from systems that are either fishless or have been fish pathogen free for a very long time, like from Reef Cleaners, is the way to go. Joseph says, how can I reduce nitrate and phosphate in my tank and do a weekly 10% water change? There's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. It would depend on the setup that you have on your tank. If you're running filter socks, how often you're changing them, filter media. I would have to know a lot more about your setup. By the way, I'll mention it again, everybody. I do one-on-one consultations. I ask you to pay me for that. But yeah, it's on the website, reefrookies.com. Check it out. You can sign up for one of those, and we can talk about all the details of your tank and stuff, and make sure that you are on the right path. It's one of the ways that I make money doing this. And everybody who's done it so far is very happy with it. I haven't had anybody do it and then be mad at me about it. Not yet. So that's good. But anyway, lots of ways to reduce. I can't speak. Reduce. The brain's running faster than the mouth can. Lots of ways to reduce nitrate and phosphate. 10% water changes are only going to affect those numbers a very minimal amount, and phosphate even less, right? So adding a protein skimmer, adding filtration of some kind, doing larger water changes. There's even medias that you can get that will remove nitrate and phosphate from the water, and then you take that media out, throw it away, put new media in. Most of that is really just going to depend on what kind of setup you're running. So if you want to join the Facebook group, if you're not in there, Reef Rookies with Logan, private Facebook group, answer the 2 questions, agree to the rules, make a post, tell us everything you got going on. We'll see if we can come up with something for you. Tara says 3 weeks observational QT isn't enough to keep the tank ick free. I agree. I just said something similar to that. So we agree. Very cool. I'll go and get more cleanup crew. Good idea. Yep. You can put too many cleaners in a tank, but once the tank is beginning to mature and grow algae, not really. What are your thoughts on the BioCube 32? I've had one. Cool tank. Are there other AIO you would recommend over it? Yes, there are, in fact. Sea Cardinal, SEA Cardinal, like that little 22-gallon right there, is a company that I am partnered with. We make all-in-one tanks. We have a 35-gallon lagoon that is not only a better shape than the BioCube 32, but it comes with better lighting, and you can get a Reef-ready kit that comes with everything from the RODI filter to salt. The only thing that we don't have in it is rocks, sand, and test kits. It has literally everything else. You can even get it with a stand if you want. They box the whole thing up on one pallet, ship the whole pallet to you. They drop it off on your driveway. Pretty cool thing. And right now, as a matter of fact, we have a 50-gallon lagoon as well. And the 35 and the 50-gallon lagoons from Sea Cardinal, you can go to seacardinal.com, SEA cardinal.com. The prices are stupid cheap because they're trying to get rid of all the 50s and 35s and get more of the 15s and 20s and stuff in the smaller tanks. So anyway, yeah, you could get a brand new 50-gallon lagoon with a stand and some stuff from them right now for like $1,000. You're not going to get anything in that size from anywhere else, anywhere around that price. So anyway, yep, there you go. So a month of copper and 2 weeks observation. That's what I would recommend. You don't have to do the copper for 30 days. You could stop it at 21, but 14 days is the absolute minimum in copper if you're going to run a copper treatment. What's your favorite kind of clownfish? I like black snowflakes. I have some. They're right there laying down in the sand bed right there. My favorite, absolute favorite, are Alardi clownfish. And I have one. She's in my fuge back there. She's huge. She's probably 4 inches long and an inch wide, maybe. Those are my favorite. I really like those. They have a very strong interaction with anemones. She's got about 15 anemones that she moves around in there, just rose bubble tips. So yeah, that's my favorite, but I do like the black storm. Oh, you have black snowflake. I have black storms. The snowflakes are cool too, though. Jack of all trades, master of any of them, says, hey man, where would you recommend ordering a large cleanup crew from?
There's more to that phrase than.
There is more to that phrase. Yeah, jack of all trades, master of none is always better than a master of one.
Yeah, oftentimes better.
Oftentimes, excuse me. Pinky.
I'm sorry.
We have a special relationship, you guys. Large cleanup crews. Reefcleaners.org is where I would recommend. Tinkley. Flipping hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, I like that. Terra Reef said down there that you can check the Humble Fish approved vendors list for invertebrates. I mean, that's a good resource as well. Yeah. 2 weeks copper, 2 weeks to observe. I mean, yeah.
Y'all are on the same page now.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. My wife said we're on the same page. Cool. Good day, everyone. It's time to celebrate. My phosphate is at 0.14 after being off the scale. Then yes, that is awesome, John. Super happy about that for you. You got a water box 60.2 for $1,500. Oh yeah, that's a huge step up from the BioCube Junior. Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on that, man. Excited to see that come together. Let's see. Every fish and system is different, but in your experience, how likely is a marine betta to eat smaller fish? Fish, maybe not so much. Invertebrates, pretty high. Marine betta, I think, if I'm not terribly mistaken, and I might be wrong here, don't quote me on this, but I think they fall into somewhere in the grouper family. They're called a marine betta, but they're not. I think they fall into like the micro groupers or something like that. They got a pretty big friggin' mouth. And usually things with a big mouth is because they want to eat big things. And yeah, so marine betta, they are cool fish. They're amazing. They're awesome fish. But they will probably eat smaller invertebrates. Lord says, what lights are you running, bro? I'll show you. Check it out. If you're still here, I hope that you are. I'm almost caught up. Very cool. We can slow down a little bit then because I'm tired. So this is the Delua X4 SPS Beast Mode Bundle. Yes, that's the whole name. There are 4 of these X4 units and 4 36-inch LED strips. I got 2 in the front and 2 in the back. The LED strips are not on right now, and the 4 X4s are only at about 80% during peak viewing period of the day because this setup is ridiculously powerful. If I turn all the lights on at 100%, I can hit 1,000 par at the top of the rocks, which is going to be good when the tank grows out and has acropora shading all the stuff down below it. But right now, it's just kind of not needed, so I don't have all that stuff on. Hoi! But that's what I'm running. Very, very good lights. Wild Wolf said, takes one to know one. Yeah. Ed says, being that I bleached my rock already, excuse me, do you think that just one 30-minute soak in muriatic acid would be good enough to pull the high phosphate out? Probably not. I usually do acid bath first because it works better to remove crap off of the outside of the rocks rather than get deep to the inside of the rocks. No matter what you do, I think you're probably going to end up with some leaching and some decay and some stuff coming out of the middle of those rocks for a while. So I don't think it would matter a whole lot if you did one or did more than one. You don't want to do too much because it is going to take some of the surface area off the rock. It does help make it a little more porous, which is good. But yeah, I would do just one acid bath and then a few rinses, and then I would start cycling that rock. Any special requirements for a cleaner shrimp in a softy only tank? Other than iodine, no. So softy tanks, generally people aren't paying a whole lot of attention to the trace elements in the tank. It is still important though, and cleaner shrimps do need iodine. Anything with a shell needs iodine to properly form its shell and things like that. So you could get some Lugol's iodine and like once a week just do a drop in the tank, like one literal drop, bloop, and it would be okay. But keeping tabs with your trace elements is always a good idea. But generally speaking, they don't need anything other than that. They don't need anything special. I moved my fish to a new tank. Now I have a coral only tank. And my question is how I can keep the nitrate and phosphate levels in a good range as I'm no longer feeding the tank. You're going to be dosing. You're either going to be dosing nitrate and phosphate, or you might consider dosing a product like nitrous from Microbial Marine, which is going to be available for sale on my website soon. That's going to be cool. Nitrous is a mixture of ammonium bicarbonate and urea. And so in a coral only system, we can ammonia dose that system, give the corals food, and also naturally raise those parameters. But there's a lot of ways to do it. But that's what it comes down to. You're either going to be ammonia dosing that tank, which is what I would do, or you're going to be dosing nitrate and phosphate to that tank directly. How can you tell if a porcupine puffer has flukes? He is breathing hard and not eating, tested his water, and everything is fine. Usually you can see them, but on a porcupine puffer, I can see how that would be difficult. Puffers are pretty sensitive. I don't know if you can do a freshwater dip on a puffer. If anybody in the comments does know, please comment if you can or if you shouldn't. That's a good question. I think probably some very close visual monitoring, even if you have to hold the fish and sort of look at it with a magnifying glass, to see if you can find flukes. That might be a thing that you would have to do. Well, I'm not sure if you can do a freshwater bath on a puffer fish. I'm low iodine. How do you interpret the test from Salifert, and how do I get it back into range? Right now, using Brightwell iodine since dosing only reading on the iodine side of the test kit. I've never used the Salifert iodine test kit. I would have to look at the instructions. I get my iodine in my trace element supplementation from Triton, so it comes in my ICP testing. But, whoa, dog almost got you.
I'm sorry.
I got to go top my coffee off. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. My throat hurts. I need a cough drop. But yeah, I'm not super familiar with that Salifert iodine test kit, so I apologize I don't have that information for you. But if you're dosing iodine, chances are you're putting enough in the tank, because iodine is not something that needs to be very high in concentration. In fact, too much iodine is detrimental to the tank, just like anything else. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Reef tanks are all about balance. And so if you were going to be dosing iodine, I would probably not rely on the Salifert test kit, and I would try to get a better way to test it. Yeah. John says, what is an affordable par meter do you recommend? Go to, I don't think we have it listed on the website yet.
I think I do.
Par meters?
Hang on.
Hang on one second, John. We're going to come right back to that. That's what I need to know too. A good par meter. Okay. Yep. Y'all hang on just a minute. We're going to get to that. Oh, hey, I got caught up. I told you it would happen in the last half of the third hour or second hour, whatever.
Amazon recommendations, testing equipment, and meters. It's on there.
Go to my website, reefrookies.com. This is for the par meters. Go to my website, reefrookies.com, click on Amazon or hover over Amazon product recommendations and go down to meters and testing equipment. And I have a par meter listed in there. It's the Dano Plus, the one that Jamie just mentioned in the comments, Dano Plus. Order that par meter. Now, with those par meters, you're going to either, they have 3 different models and they send all 3 of them out. You're either going to get one that does not have a green dot on the box. If it does not, multiply that number by 1.7. So if it spits out 100, multiply that by 1.7, and you're going to get 107. And because that par meters, it's just a little off from what we typically use in the hobby. I've got videos on the Dano Plus par meters, all 3 versions on my YouTube channel. If you get one with a green dot, the safest way to go forward with that is to add 35 to whatever number it spits out. That makes sure that you're not overlighting anything. Jamie said, on the Dano, did you say to add or subtract? You add to it. You add to that number. Yeah, that's going to make sure that you don't overlight the tank. But also, it's because the Dano doesn't read quite the same as the Apogee MQ510, which is sort of the industry standard. And that gets it a little bit closer. But it's still a good budget par meter. You can set your tank with it. It's what I set my tank with. My corals are doing just fine. And it's about 120 bucks or so for that par meter, which in reference to the Apogee is like $500 less, because that thing is expensive. Nugget says, I have an issue with just my toadstool, and my LFS said to check iodine. So what's the issue with the toadstool? Because they do things. Yeah. Retep says, stability in the tank, chaos in the savings account. No doubt. That's just part of reef keeping. I did? I missed one from Kelly. I'm sorry. Kelly! I don't even see it. Oh, there it is. You answered my most of my questions about moving my sump. Okay. It's going in the big closet next to the tank. I can't get under the tank anymore. Same. What should I watch for after? So moving your sump like that, you are almost guaranteed to have a nutrient spike. So be ready to make some big water changes after you move your sump, because you're probably going to see the nitrate and phosphate go up, maybe even significantly. A couple of big water changes are going to be very helpful in bringing that number back down. Cleaning the sump out first, like vacuuming it out, getting all the gunk out of there first, is a good way to help prevent that, but it's probably still going to do it a little bit. And that's the only thing that I would tell you to be worried about. Maybe run some activated carbon for a week or so just to make sure nothing weird gets in there, but that's about it. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. Par meter, the one that's only 119, is it as good as the other one? Do you mean compared to the one that's 129? They're the same thing. It's just going to be one of those 3 models that I was talking about. Now, compared to the Apogee, no. The Apogee is a better par meter. No question. It just is, but it's also $600. Jamie said, thinking about investing in Hydros. Not sure which model. Want to keep it relatively simple, but buildable for later. So that's the cool thing about Hydros, is all of their modules all talk to one another. So it doesn't matter which one you start with. You just pick which one has the features that you want, and you can still always add any other module to it later down the road. Neptune Apex doesn't work quite like that. Don't you already have some Apex stuff, Jamie? Am I mistaken that? I thought you did. I thought you did, but you weren't using it yet, maybe. My toadstool is psychotic one day, standing straight up, and the next day going back to bed. Kelly is moving everything to a new sump. Right. I get that, but I was thinking, I thought you had a refugium and stuff, so there was maybe rocks and algae and stuff in there like that. If you're just moving equipment to a new sump, then the best way to do that is to disassemble everything, clean everything, put it back together all clean, and then you probably won't see that those nutrient spikes that I was talking about. But if there's a refugium, if there's rocks, if there's sand, if there's macroalgae, if there's detritus in there, all that stuff, then yeah, you might. But if you take the old sump offline, take everything out, clean it, install the new sump, fill it up with new salt water, then you're not going to see those nutrient spikes and things like that. And I mean, essentially, it's like doing a big water change on the tank. So good stuff. Okay, so Nugget's toadstool is not letting the polyps out. 2 pieces are starting to fall off. One just fell during the live chat. It was 12 inches wide, always out. Now it's folding and separating. So that is a thing that they do to propagate themselves. So it may not necessarily be something wrong with your toadstool. It may just be that it's reproducing. They will also retract their polyps and shed their skin like a reptile. That is also totally normal for a toadstool to do that. So it's hard to be 100% sure because I can't see it, you know. So if you want to post in the Facebook group and put some good pictures in there and ask about it, we can certainly take a look, or try to at least. Jamie said no controllers that I'm aware of. Oh, so you don't have any. I don't know why I thought you had some Apex. You just have a million plugs and surge protectors and basically a fire. Not good, Jamie. So I'm trying to think with what you have going on in your tank. You're dosing. So probably it honestly, it really just depends on what all you want the controller to do. They have a controller that is also a 4-port doser, the Blenny. I think it's the Blenny is the one with the 4-port doser. There's also the Minnow, and then there's the Launch as well, which is kind of a simple controller with some outlets. You could get the Kraken, which is it the Kraken? No, the XP8 has 8 controllable outlets on it. That works in conjunction with a controller. I mean, there's tons of stuff to do. Look, but let's talk DM, and we'll talk, and we'll figure out a system for you to go with Hydros that'll help you with your tank. Nugget says, oh yeah, definitely not shedding, but maybe propagating. Okay, very cool. Is it okay to keep electric blue Acara with firemouth? That sounds like freshwater stuff. I don't recognize those names for saltwater stuff. Is that freshwater? I don't know much about freshwater. I have green hair algae growing in my GSP and my pallies. Is it okay to close them up and scrub with a soft brush? I would not do that to Palithoa. Pallies have palitoxin, and if you scrub them, it can cause them to release said palitoxin, which can cause you all kinds of problems that you don't want. So I would not do that. I wouldn't do it to GSP either. If you have algae growing in and amongst your corals, I would remove those and do a hydrogen peroxide bath on those coral frags specifically. That's how I would treat for that. Yeah. But be careful with the pallies. Wear gloves, wear eye protection, wear a mouth covering, because you don't want to get palitoxin. It sucks. Those are freshwater fish, the Acara and the firemouth. They're cichlids, I believe. I was thinking that they probably were as well. Yeah, I'm not sure. Possum says that they would not recommend mixing those fish. Thank you very much, Possum. Appreciate your knowledge there. So, what else do we have going on?
30 minutes left in the chat, so if they have questions.
Yeah, 30 minutes left in the chat, so it's now or never, which means maybe next Sunday. My leather in my 40 has been splitting for about 2 months. Been tearing along the mushroom cap both sides, still out polyps every day. It is a way, yeah, that they propagate. Jason, what's going on, my friend? Happy to see you here. Thank you so much for joining us. What are we working on? You'll notice that there's a bit of a change in the content that we're putting out right now, and you'll also notice that there is a lot more vertical shorts content happening right now. And that's because Sandy has taken over making vertical short content, chopping up all my other stuff. So you're going to see more of that, but we're not sending that out to subscribers. We don't want to burn you out with notifications. So if you see that kind of stuff, please interact with it. You don't have to go and search for it, but if it pops up, hit the buttons, leave a comment. It helps drive the channel. It helps keep us away from corporate sponsors, where we can be completely, what's the word that I'm looking for? Impartial. Impartial is what I'm looking for. I can say what I want to say because nobody's paying me to say anything, and I would like to keep it that way.
Remind any members to go check out the latest member video.
Yes, members, YouTube channel members, website members, check out the latest information push in those 2 places. Or no, that's actually website members got an email. YouTube members, go watch the most recent YouTube membership video. There's info in there that you got to have. Green hair algae in my new tank is popping.
Oh, no.
That's not good. Increase your cleaners, ramp up those cleaners, man. Get that stuff going. And keep tabs on your phosphates and whatnot. Oh no, my battery is at 15%. Can we last 25 minutes on 15%? I don't know. We're going to find out. But yeah, let's see. So what do we got here? Per humble fish, osmotic shock is a treatment that can be used for both ick and flukes on puffers. Interesting. Okay, so thanks for looking that up. Yeah, that helps a bunch. So you can do a freshwater bath on puffer fish. Probably have to have a pretty big container, and make sure you do that correctly. Freshwater bath has to be done properly. The pH has to match. It's a salt shock that you're giving those organisms to make them fall off the fish. But the pH has to be almost the same. So you set up your freshwater bath with clean RODI water, and then you use very small amounts of alkalinity supplement like baking soda to raise the pH up to match what's in the reef tank. And then you take the fish out, you put it in the freshwater bath, 5 minutes. It's at some point in that bath, it's going to look like it's dead. It's going to flop over on its side. As long as it's breathing, it's good. Kind of nudge it back in the upright position and make sure there's oxygenation. Follow the rules. Go to type this in Google, humble fish freshwater bath, and then read all of that before you ever get started. And then if you have to, read it again. If this rock is going to continue to leach high numbers of phosphate, I'm assuming I'll have to use a mechanical biofilter media. Will GFO or other stuff that is in phosphate banks strip out too much the water if it makes my coral unhappy? It can if you overuse it, yes. You're just going to have to, unfortunately, you're just going to have to see what happens. Because if you got a good clean on it, it might not leach that much. But if it begins going crazy and the numbers get way too high, then you might have to use something like Roaphos in a reactor to bring that phosphate down. Me personally, I would clean the rock and I would do a dark cure on it in a container before it ever goes into the tank. Shrimp tail in there, whole bottle of Microbacter 7, whatever else you want to use as far as bacteria goes. Let it go through the nitrogen cycle, a couple big water changes after that, and then let it sit in there for a week, and then check the phosphate and nitrate, see where they are. If they're really high, another big water change. That's the most effective way to flush that stuff out. Is like once a week, just do a 100% saltwater change on that drum where that stuff is at with flow and heat. Also, I know that I'm shotgunning information at you right now, and I apologize. But let me summarize it. Dark Cure, big container, no light, salt water, normal reef tank salinity, heater, and flow. Move the water in the drum, shrimp tail in, that'll make ammonia. Bacteria in, that'll cycle the rocks. After the cycle, big water change, wait a week, see where the nitrate phosphate are, another big water change, wait another week, see where they are. If they're not going up, then maybe it's all gone. If they are going up or getting way high, continue those weekly massive water changes until it's all stripped out of the rocks. Sometimes it can take a week. Sometimes it can take 4 months for all of that crap to come out of there. But you would rather do it in that drum than in your tank. You can look up BRS, Dark Cure, Live Rock, stuff like that, and get more information. Should I skip the acid soak being that I already bleached it? You could do the acid soak if you want to. It's going to increase the porosity, and it's going to take some organics off of the surface of the rocks. It's not going to hurt anything to do it. I don't think it's going to help tremendously either, but it definitely won't hurt. In other news, the outboard motor that I've been working on for my boat is cooked. And the other one that I bought to get parts off of that one is also cooked. So that project has come to a screeching halt, unfortunately. But anyway, that's the other channel, Reef Rookies Goes Fishing. Did you guys know I had another channel? I have another channel. It's called Reef Rookies Goes Fishing. And I'm just putting extra stuff out there. It's just sideline stuff. Do you need to bleach brand new dry Marco rock before a Dark Cure? I probably would not, because brand new Marco rock is supposedly clean and it shouldn't have organics caked on it that need the bleach to kill them, to get rid of them. Jason says, have you got a chance to check out Palm Street? Was I supposed to? I don't recall anything about that. Did I miss something? I'm not sure. I don't think I've checked it out. You might have told me before, but I don't know. But yeah, I would not think that you would have to bleach the brand new Marco rocks. They're supposed to be pretty clean. So I would just, I would just Dark Cure those and go from there. It says boat stands for break out another 1,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, I really enjoy fishing, and the place that I fish here, it pretty much requires a boat. Jamie, just saw you painted the motor. Yes, I did. I was in the process of restoring that engine back to the way that it was. But it's one of the cylinders is gouged, so it's no good. And you can't really hone these anyway. We're not talking about reef tanks anymore, because I started talking about boats. I live 20 minutes from the White River. I have fished on that river before for trout. And 20 minutes from Buffalo National River. Ozark's got amazing fishing.
I'm just messing with you. Keep going.
Yeah. My wife was like, we're going to move there. And I'm like, no, we're not. I live in Louisiana. We have the best fishing in the world here. Just saying. Yeah, we're probably not ever leaving here. I'm just saying. Jason says, I just got a custom welded jet sled for running the Rogue River in Oregon, chasing salmon. Very cool. There's a lot of us that like fishing. What are your current thoughts on drip acclimation? Oh, I saw that earlier. I forgot to answer it. I'm sorry. Biota says if you drip acclimate your fish, it voids their warranty. It absolutely will. Jason, put a turbocharger on that thing. Jamie, yes, Biota does not recommend that you drip acclimate their fish. And in fact, any fish that you get shipped to you, I would not recommend drip acclimating those fish, because what happens is the fish make waste in the water, and that makes ammonia. But the pH in the water in the bag that they're being drip acclimated, hang on. The pH in the bag that the fish are being shipped in is going down, and that is stopping the ammonium from being converted to the toxic form. When you open that bag up, it's being exposed to the air. You begin dripping water in there. The pH goes up. The ammonia toxicity ramps up incredibly fast. So that's why they say don't do that. Biota's instructions for everything that I've gotten from them so far, including that elegance right there, are temp match directly in the tank. That's their recommendation. And I agree with it, because scientifically, chemically, drip acclimating anything that's been shipped in a bag over a 24-hour period, or maybe even 48 hours, drip acclimating it makes it worse, makes the ammonia toxicity go way up. So yes, that is exactly right. Do not drip acclimate shipped animals. Hey, Connie, we're having a good time today. It's been a pretty awesome live. Possum lives a quarter mile from the Gulf in southeast Mississippi. Pretty decent fishing here. I am in Slidell, Possum. So the Wrigley's, Hopedale, Delacroix, that whole area, that's where I fish. I do want to come over towards you guys, towards Biloxi and Gulfport, and fish some of the places y'all got over there too. But I got to finish my boat first. Pascagoula. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Not far. Nope. Not far at all. What are we having for dinner? Leftovers. Gotcha.
I cooked that yummy thing.
Yeah. I forgot already. Jason lives in Rogue River near Grants Pass. I don't know where that is, my friend, but it's in Oregon, and that's pretty cool. If I took a trip and went fishing with all of the people from Reef Rookies that enjoy fishing, I could do fishing all over the world. Like literally, like Lyle is up in Canada and wants me to come up there and go fishing for him, with him for walleye, and I think salmon and yellow perch and stuff. And you're chasing salmon on the Rogue River, and Russ Dog here fishes for smallmouth bass in Lake Pickwick Lake, which is the smallmouth bass capital of the United States, pretty much. Josh is in St. Augustine, Florida. Like, come on, let's just do a Reef Rookies Goes on tour. And I go fishing with everybody. That goes on the Reef Rookies Goes Fishing channel. I thought you were in Hammond. I'm in Slidell as well, and have a 19 center console. Fish mostly out of the Wrigley's or the Point. I'll look for you on the water. Yeah, cool, man. No, I'm in Slidell. I usually launch out of, this is the point in the live stream where we just talk about whatever for the last like 10 minutes. I usually launch either out of the Wrigley's or out of the Point, or I go down to Shell Beach and launch down there. But I'm still learning. I've only fished out there just last year, sort of at the end of the summer through the fall. And then I sold my bass boat and I started building my flat boat. And my flat boat ain't built yet, so I can't go fishing. Jamie is in Indianola, Texas. I didn't even know that was a place. Jessica says, one last question. 5% on the battery. We're going to have to answer this couple of questions, and that's going to be it. I can't see. It's got dark. When I did the disaster and got the tank up, started checking the next day back. Was it? Do I keep pushing it till I hit? No, I mean, 1320 is fine. You don't have to worry about it too much right now. Yeah, mostly let that tank stabilize. Let's see. What percentage of live rock do you suggest to add to new dry rock when starting a new tank? Literally as much as you can. Don't do a percent. Just do as much as possible. Possum's got a 15-foot skiff with a 9.9. Yeah, I'm switching from a bass boat to a 14-foot wood boat with a 24-stroke on it. That's what I'm going to. Ghost said, I don't drip acclimate, float the bag, open the bag, dump the water immediately, then get fish out of that bag into the QT. Yep, exactly. That's perfect. All right, everybody. Well, we're a few minutes ahead of time, but I'm going to have to go ahead and get off here because I'm about to lose you before you go. Great stream. Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate that. But yeah, my phone's going to die. So anyway, join the Facebook group, Reef Rookies with Logan. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do all the things. Thank you all for all the super chats and super stickers and super stuff and all of that. And yeah, we're gonna see you next time, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. I had too much coffee. Wee.